ম্যাডাম
Good morning, respected colleagues and participants. I am Priyanka Ghosh. As newcomers, the third day of our faculty development program within the framework of bridging academia and industry, a ADP-Centric approach to AI, robotics and industry 4.0 or 5.0. I am filled with a deep sense of passion and expectation. Over the first 2 days, we have dug deep into the details of cutting-edge technology and the evolving landscape of academia and industry collaboration. Today marks another significant step in our collective journey towards the academic excellence and industry readiness. As educators and researchers, we play a vital role in the shaping the minds and talents of the next generation, preparing them with the skills and knowledge to succeed in an ever-changing world driven by AI and robotics. Throughout this faculty development program, we have explored innovative academia approach, interdisciplinary research opportunity, effective strategy for curriculum design and implementation. So let us make this third day a witness to our shared commitment for bridging the gap between academia and industry, creating a brighter future for generation to come. So please join hands to welcome our today's speaker, Ms. Munmun Das. Principal or VP, Automation, Innovation and Digital Transformation, Accenture, Bangalore. Ms. Das is an applied data scientist and research scholar with almost 17 plus years of experience in software project management, product development, product strategy and delivery of large-scale complex automation, transformation, solution, web and mobile application. She is leading digital transformation project for more than a decade, which include in technology like AI/ML, analytics, blockchain, and extended reality. She is also mentored industry tech force as an industry speaker, corporate mentor, and guest lecturer. Ms. Das is a doctoral researcher at Swiss School of Business Management, Geneva, working on the risk management of sustainable smart city enabled by AI, IoT, and blockchain. She did her senior management program in business analytics from IIM Calcutta, Master of Business Administration in System and Finance, and Bachelor of Engineering in Electronics from University of Mumbai. So, Ms. Das will enlighten us today about big data analytics for Industry 4.0 or 5.0. Welcome to ma'am. So, in this note, I would like to request our principal sir to say some few words.
I would like to know that when I can reach to all of you and not employ this bad throat, although it has improved a lot since last 2 days. I am in contact with Mr. Munmun since 2008. If you are aware about the NEP recent advancement in NEP as far as the UGC guidelines are concerned, the UGC chairman just yesterday has declared one important information that all the UG and PG courses must be equipped with internship programs and projects, and that is going to be a mandatory. When I talk Dr. Tanishan Chattopadhyay, when I talk is Dash, I simply become their student. I do not know as a student how I am and they will tell it. But when I talk to them, I always learn a lot. And at that point of time, I can understand what is the gap that exists between academia and industry. A country like us, it's not a challenge to produce a MTech, BTech or some PhD scholars. That is much more easy than to make a student employable, to make a student industry ready. That is the challenge. Thanks to our central government, UGC, that they have realized such kind of potential. I was going through one of the article very recently which says one class 10 standard pass China student is much more valuable to the society than the master students of a country. Whether it is a master students or PhD students, that is debatable, but we all understand there is a major gap between industry and academia. When we were identifying the resource person, we thought is Das can be an exact fit to help us to understand where as a teacher, as an educator, we can give emphasis on the project development and internship while we are trying to go towards the excellence of academics. Thank you, Mr. Das, for taking time out from your extremely busy schedule, because I know you since the day you were working with Linde with a very senior position, then the Tata Steel, and then now for the last couple of years with a very senior role in Accenture. And in Bangalore, while I need to wait to talk to you since midnight in some of the days because of your extremely busy schedule. So our sincere gratitude to you that to taking time out from your extremely busy schedule to fly from Bangalore to here only for this session. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, I would like to request our Vice Principal, Madam, Ms. Sukarna Das, to felicitate Madam.
Gautam sir and Aditya sir.
Gautam sir and Aditya sir, please join. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So, without wasting any time, I hand over the session, Madam. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you all feeling today? Sleepy? No, ma'am. Like, how many hours you sleep in a day? How many hours you get to sleep in a day? Just a question. More than that? 6 hours. Who said 4? Like 5, 4? Okay, I understood. Because of me. Who else is 4? Exactly, because of me. Okay. Anybody else 4 hours? Okay. I sleep 3 to 4 hours a day, and the rest of the time I work. Because sir SMS me at 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. I am always up. Even Hariom knows that. Right? So this is my schedule. Kind of I am working in Accenture recently, and I am in a very senior position. There are some projects which are going on with Google. So we are co-piloting with Google. So my client is Google, so I am like handling the client end with who are like the people who are mostly from the Google. And then our Accenture counterpart is there. So we are actually developing some generative AI strategy and roadmap. And kind of we have identified some of the use cases, and those use cases we are building. Now coming to this position, it was not very easy. It took me 17 plus years. So I also started my journey as a software engineer like Hariom and the students here. So it was kind of a dream for me to kind of like rise the ladder. But how I will grow and what will be the footsteps or the baby steps, that was very much unknown to me. Like anybody starting from here, starting the journey from an engineering college. So me from the average family background, like both of my parents are from the government, and they don't have any idea like engineering or MBA. So that kind of guidance I haven't got from them. Yes, the financial and mental support was always there, but like the guidance which should come from like a parents like who is an engineer himself or herself, that guidance was not there. So it was a journey for me, and it was my sole choice that I would go for engineering. Before it was not that. I was thinking that I would go for a like I will take a physics honors. Then I started like interpreting on things, and then I thought that I will go for aeronautics, and finally I ended up doing electronics engineering. So after that, I did my MBA as well, and kind of joined my career with a startup only. So it was a US startup that time, and to be honest, the company doesn't exist now. So when I started, it was a very good company, but due to some like internal problems, and they have some issues with the Indian like the counterpart. So they stopped the operation in India, and they are still operating from US. So I started my journey from there, and over the years, I rose the ladder. I became the tech lead in LinkedIn, and then I moved to Tata Steel. There I have handled kind of mostly a digital transformation initiative, and it was a very good experience because I have led most of the things single-handedly as a part of Industry 4.0. So that transformation I have seen, that how a company has transformed from a very traditional legacy systems to the like the automation towards Industry 4.0, the sole objective of that. So most of the projects I led that time and kind of become the individual contributor in that. So I worked almost a decade, not decade, like 7.5 years in Tata Steel, and then I moved to Accenture, and within the 1 year in Accenture, I got again promoted to a very senior position. So due to some contract happened, like it was my luck also and my hard work also, because I am sleeping only 4 hours. So actually some contract which was 2.5 years contract, so that got extended to 7.5 years. So that was like the basic reason that why I got promoted, because in Accenture the promotion doesn't happen like that. So within a year I got promoted. And then over the years, like now I am leading with Google. So I am in a very senior leadership position. And also I have opened my own startup. I hope that there is no one from Accenture here. So it will be a problem for me. So now I have opened my own startup, registered in US, and like last year only, and I told sir that I'm going to like register my own startup. And kind of the first thing I thought that the students, the engineering students, it was not for the cost. Yes, cost was a factor because I was bootstrapping my company. I am bootstrapping it. Kind of I am putting my savings and investment into it. So definitely the interns cost will be less than anybody I will be taking experience. But that is not the only factor. I think you guys know that Bangalore is a startup hub. So if I want I can go for the seed funding and it won't be very much difficult for me to raise the funding at this level also. But my primary interest was to go to my hometown and take some students. Because actually I belong to this very place. I have studied my 12th from here and then I moved to outside. So the first contact I did was, sir, like give me some students and I will start my startup. So kind of they will be, like witnessing my startup journey. So that was the first thing I told sir, that I want to take some interns. So even it is not that I won't be getting interns from Bangalore, but this is the first thing which came to my mind, that I will give chance to this place. Why this place? There is two things. First of all is IQ and second is EQ. Both the things are very important. And if you see this very zone, Bengal, Bihar, Orissa, these people are lethal combination of EQ and IQ both. Because if you go to south, if you go to west, people have IQ, but what they lack is commitment, accountability. So that is kind of, they don't have that emotional quotient. So that is the reason that Bengalis are doing so good and they are sitting on top of every organization mostly. So this is the reason, primary reason that I would have come to Bengal and hire the interns. So this is my journey. I am doing a doctorate also from Geneva, and probably this year itself I will complete my dissertation and get the degree. So that is also and my startup is also the same, on the same approach on which I am doing the research. So it is on smart cities, it is on sustainability. So that is my subject of research and that is my startup all about. So, and I do go to lots of institutes like this. The last month also I went to ICTE Bangalore campus. Again next week I have a session in Goa campus, Goa Institute of Management. So I do have a lots of sessions. Even last year it was full session, online sessions, which went around. So I feel like sharing knowledge and addressing students the best thing, because I don't know how much they are getting benefited from me. I of course get benefited because if I have to make 2 pages of presentation, I have to study only 20 pages. So that is kind of benefit I get. I always brush up my skills. And some facts which are less known about me, so I haven't gone to the slide also. So I will come back to this again. Mostly I think in my introduction everything is covered. I am an off-road biker, so this is a less known fact about me. And in 2016 I went from Delhi to Ladakh, I was a sole rider in my bullet. So I covered 3,500 kilometers and again come back to Delhi. So that is a journey I covered. So this is one of the pics from there, Pangong Lake. And in that every moment, that is a journey actually I learned lots of lessons. In every moment I felt that my body is giving up and I cannot go anymore, because it was the most difficult road of the world. I have passed Hardungla, that is 18,000 feet high, the world's highest motorable road. And in every turn there were challenges. So only my mind keep on telling me don't give up. So that was the only thing I learned from the journey. I think everyone should do it. At least if not in the bike, at least in go in the car. But face that challenge, especially what our armies face. It is very, very cold. It is kind of sub-zero temperature somewhere in places. Very less oxygen. Somewhere I felt almost kind of frozen. My hands and legs are not even working. The bike machines also doesn't work some places. So it was that kind of deadly terrain. But all is in the mind. Every time I have to tell myself that don't give up. So that is one of the deadliest thing I have done so far. Other some of the small trips and some off-roading things I have done. So this was the deadliest one. And I have published a book also last year, not last year, 2022. So now I am writing the second book, but not getting much time because I am working with 3 organizations basically. So one is Accenture and Google, and second one is I am doing some personal consultancy, and third one is my own startup. So, and like from the last year actually I am working in 3 organizations constantly. Like the second organization is always changing, it is kind of on the contractual basis. The last year I was a CTO in a startup, so kind of set up their entire thing, the technological background from the ideation to the launch. And then I left that startup and then move on to some other company. You can follow me in LinkedIn if you want. Anytime you can ask me any question, and I'm always there. So that's all about me. Any questions? No questions? Okay, recently Hariom, Shobhit and Ayushi from third year is working with me. So I can see Hariom is here. And I am also planning to take 2-3 more interns. So that is my plan now. So we will be launching the product maybe in next 6 months, hopefully. Like, let's keep my finger crossed. That's all I can do now. And then I have to like put the rest on them, so that they will sleep 4 hours a day. Okay, so today I think the above 2 things are mostly covered. I think I have seen most of the LinkedIn posts, like people before me who has come. They have covered industry 4.0 and 5.0. So mostly I will be covering big data and analytics because that is my domain. So I am not only seeing the analytics, I am seeing all the pillars of digital transformation. Kind of, I have worked in robotics, I have worked in analytics, AI, ML, AR, VR. So except the 5G, I have worked in everything. Cloud computing, done major transformation of one-print server to for the SAP to the HANA transformation. So yeah, so I've done most of the things mostly in this area. And so mostly I will be covering on the data analytics about data and little bit overview on the AI, ML and deep learning. Also, I will be explaining what are the various roles available in industry, because knowing the roles in industry perspective would be beneficial for the faculty because they can guide the people in that manner. Then data visualization and reporting, why it is important. And I have taken one industry, and that is my favorite also, banking and finance, to understand what are the industry-wise KPIs they see in the visualization or they take out in the charts. Then I will be little bit moving to how the data analytics being done, like mostly like data pre-processing, cleaning, wrangling, how the data is obtained from the external sources, and little bit on the predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics. So kind of just giving the overview, because it like I won't be like able to go in much depth of the things, but kind of giving the overview so that anybody who is interested can pick up the topic and can I see the data like that? Yes. So, industry 4.0, I think most of the things are covered. So, can somebody tell that what is the like objective of industry 4.0? Let's a little bit make it interactive, otherwise it is going to be very boring. Yes? Yes.
Industry 4.0 is basically an integration of digital information into the physical world, where we get a digital twin concept, where maybe the manpower is replaced by digital sources. Like in case of elevators, that we see that in elevators the manpower control is completely replaced by computerized machine control, and we get the robot in the service sector where the robot is being replaced with the manpower. The concept of co-robot scheme, that is collaboration of robot with human beings, where the robots are treated as employees and they serve the duties or the responsibilities more perfectly than a human being. So according to me, Industry 4.0 is basically a integration or integrity of digitalization to our technology. Integration of digitalization is
Okay. So anybody else wants to tell? You are very near. Anybody else? Okay, so you are close actually. It is about digitization, but digitization started also way back. So Industry 4.0 walks or talks mostly about automation. So it is about automation. It is about how you can leverage the data which is coming from the machines, the sensors, what we call as IoT. So IoT is Internet of Things. So that is kind of continuous flow of data from the sensors, from the machines, from the monitoring systems. It can be the traffic light signals. It can be the camera sensors. It can be the scanners, barcode scanners. It can be, like for the supply chain management, any instrument that is, like tracking the codes of the, like the products which are going out. So it can be any machine where the data is coming. And you are leveraging that data to do some predictive analysis. You are doing some analysis. You are kind of creating digital twin of it. So digital twin is nothing but you are actually, like simulating the similar kind of data, and you are actually, like seeing the output, giving the various probabilities. So you are kind of automating the entire, like the process flow. So wherein human is not needed anymore for the repetitive mundane work. So what do you mean by repetitive mundane work?
That is the automation.
That is automation. Yeah. So repetitive mundane work, can you give me any example? What can be a repetitive mundane work?
Packaging in the industry.
Yeah, packaging in the industry, it can be a repetitive work. Anything in the software system?
Data entry.
Data entry. So when you are generating the invoice, you are generating the invoice, you are putting some data into the ERP system, and it is the same kind of data which you are feeding and you are like round and round. There is no thought process involved in it. So I don't have to think anything about it. It is just a mundane work which a computer can do. So there lots of process automation has taken place. The workflow automation. Even packaging and all these things, where the hardware is required basically. Now Amazon has created bots, the humanoids. They are actually moving things in the supply chain. So lots of automation have happened as a part of Industry 4.0. Now someone can tell that what is Industry 5.0?
Little bit. It's not human-centric. The 5.0 is totally automated.
It is human-centric. So it is human-centric. Yes. Yeah.
Human-centric resilience and
Sustainability, right. So Industry 5.0 is making whatever there is, like leveraged or implemented in Industry 4.0, making that thing better and bringing more human-centric approach to it. So kind of, like making machine and humans work together. So where human intelligence is required, human can put that intelligence, and where the machine data is required, they can put that intelligence and do some strategic decisions on it. So there is a flow, like synergy between the human and the machine. So Industry 5.0 is a synergy between the human and the machine. Also it talks about sustainability. So how many people have known that UN goal of 2030? Sustainable goals. Okay, so UN goal of sustainability, you can search in the net SDG. So there are 17 sustainable goals, and that is also one of my research topics. So like no hunger, no poverty, clean energy, clean air, clean water, right to education. So all these things are kind of like coming for the 17 UN 2030 goals of sustainability. So kind of all the companies or all the industries are moving towards that, like that mode now. So right now, what we have seen, like all the AI, ML and everything thing happened. So now people are saying that there are lots and lots of data, okay, but there is no proper data management, or there is actually very much, like we are not getting that, like zero carbon emission, because servers are very much costly. Where these data are stored. Data centers are very costly itself. It's a costly resource. So lots of work is happening on the data compression techniques, so that how we can make the ML as green ML. So convert ML, machine learning, bigger side of it, so that like the carbon emission and the power footprint, these things are reduced to a to a sustainable level. So this is kind of like the motto of the industry 5.0. Along with that, there are some ethical considerations, like the AI, which is like now you might have seen that they are creating the images of like the real human being, and it can be like sometimes it can be very unethical, right? Because the deepfake technologies are coming, so the ethical considerations of AI are coming into picture. So lots of policies are now like into place, so that AI is used only for the benefits and not as a disadvantages, like where it can harm the people, right? Okay, so any example of the big data? I am not seeing any voice from here. Just talk about it freely.
Any social networking site, they produce big data.
Yes, right. So YouTube can be an example, Facebook can be an example, where lots of communications are happening, and so many, like the users are there, they're registering, so many videos we are seeing in a day. So kind of there, like millions and like the, how many gigabytes of like the data is getting, terabytes of data is creating, we even don't know, like every day. So big data is something wherein that, as I said, that as a part of Industry 5.0, there is a tremendous need of big data management. Not from the, like as a side from analytics, not only analyzing those data, but also from managing those data, storing those data, like kind of from the sustainability viewpoint. How does data centers can be compressed and all. So there are also lots of work is happening as a part of big data analytics. So, and other things that you can actually, like, yeah.
I have a question regarding the basics that you have told about Industry 5.0. When we told that we are trying to move towards sustainability, particularly the objectives that UN is having by 2030. So in that case, whatever we are seeing, that we are trying to replace humans in majority of the sectors by humanoids. So when we are going for automation, when we are going for implementation of humanoids, is there any way out that they will not be harming the employment? Because the population is increasing day by day. If we are talking about sustainability, employment is a factor that is to be increased. But we all know that these humanoids will be definitely having efficiencies and accuracy greater than the human beings. So how can employment be enhanced with the use of this Industry 5.0?
Okay, so actually it's a good question. So don't relate to this now today's world recession which is going, like Google is laying off 17,000 and Microsoft is laying off this many people. So automation and like bringing humanoids is not about like taking full-time equivalences. It is not about reducing FTEs. It is about putting human beings in a more strategic roles wherein the human intelligence is required. So where machine can work, the machines are developed for that. And again, humanoids, if you talk about that, if they can harm, yes, they can harm if you program it that way, right? So there actually comes the ethical practice of AI. So it is in our part that how we are like putting policies and data protection act in place to not to like misuse any data or misuse the automation tools as a whole. Okay. So and about the employment, what you have asked is not about like reducing or taking out a human being and putting a robot over there. Human beings are good for the more strategic making like or more like decision making role. So wherein human beings can take the decision based on the data. So their decision is backed by the facts and figures. Okay, so wherein the robots and humanoids cannot work anymore because their intelligence won't be like as applicable as to the human intelligence. So that is a thing. Yeah.
From a country like India, where can find various socio-economic forms. There is a large sector of people who are not getting higher education, and they are also human beings. They also require their basic necessities of life. Now, a good number of people in India have been employed in a type of job where labor is a main part in that case. If you are replacing all those laborers' jobs with introduction of robots and all these things, industry 4.0 and 5.0, then how these people are going to be accommodated in the system?
And who will monitor those robots, maintain those robots, feed data into those robots?
Madam, only one person is sufficient for maintaining the robot. Either there is
This is a
50
very
employees
discussed
are
question, let me
working.
tell you. So when the automation was going in Tata Steel, like I have seen a major thing like transformation. So there was actually, like a saying that okay, like now the functional departments who are there, they are not even ready to like share their functional knowledge. Because the automation, they used to think that automation will take their job, whatever they are doing, okay? But it didn't happen. Because with the automation, I will say that 20,000 more recruits happened just to maintain the automation. No functional job went, they went to for more strategic roles, and 20,000 more recruits. Actually, when I resigned, 20,000 more recruits happened to just manage whatever robots have been built so far.
Actually, one class of person, labor, have to be suppressed. Because automation or robot are perform some work, that labor have to be suppressed. You say that 20,000 people are hired to maintain the automation. So you have to knowledge that that
Just
one.
everyone, Hariom is there, right? So Hariom is working for me. So if I ask him that Hariom make a website with ChatGPT, he will be able to make it. There is no problem. But ChatGPT won't be able to make a website for me. Hariom will be able to make it with the use of ChatGPT.
Again, and the skill set that is required for creating that ChatGPT.
Yes, ChatGPT will give you the chunk of code, but how to apply it, how to put it, and how to put his human intelligence. That what I am trying to tell you, what I am trying to convey is that Hariom only will understand that ChatGPT won't understand. He will be able to do that job in one day, which will be taking maybe 10 days without ChatGPT.
Yes, madam, that is the main reason. If the Hariom will do the work by his own, then there one person needed for the back end and one person
Right,
needed
the work
for.
will be increasing. So he is working on one project. The projects will be increasing. The population is increasing day by day. Where the population is going,
Problems will be increasing. That
problems will be increasing. You bring
Yes.
one technology, there will be 1,000 problems actually to it. Who will see the control system? Who will monitor the control systems? Right?
Those are the very high-end skills that are required by.
Even for the lower scale, if you saw that the factory laborers, like if you say that okay, the people who was packaging before, he is being replaced by a humanoid, then he will actually have the training how to handle that humanoid, so that humanoid can act better.
No, the person who are working in industry, the industry will take care of that particular person, so that his job or her job is not going to be lost. So training is important. But what will happen to the students who are coming from the secondary and higher secondary and then at this level?
And so they have to grow, like they have to think now that this is not, this is not the future which was 10 years back. This is the India which is, tremendously, going in a disruptive mode. Technology is disruptive. So students have to think now what they were thinking before that, okay, just doing a graduate.
Are you think about that? Since India like country is a human world, and is such
Definitely,
amount.
why not?
Is
If
it possible? Is it possible?
We have to see, we have to first transform our mindset. If we are not giving that, that spirit to a disruption, then nobody can check us. India is to a digitization. I don't want to go to US because why I will go to a 10 years back, who is 10 years back in IT now?
is in all level. Upskilling is needed in every sector.
Definitely, but that has to be come from the individual level as well. I am doing improvising my education and improvising my skills every day, every second. They also know that I learn every second. So everyone has to come with that. You cannot sit hands on hands and tell that nothing is happening with you. Now students from outside, they are working in 2-3 places even before doing their graduation. I have hired a student who was not even 10th plus. He dropped out from 10th. I asked why you have dropped out from 10th. He said I didn't want to do that. I was more into coding. But he was a hacker. He was a hacker. So why I will go for a 4 years BE degree who doesn't know anything, who is not employable at all, than a 10 years dropout who is a hacker. You have to see skills, improving ourselves. I am also from a background who is very lower middle class background because both of my parents are government employees. But from there I have raised here. It is my soul hard work. I haven't given it up. I haven't thought, okay, government is not doing this for me. I have to think what I am doing for myself. Right? You ask your students who are in 3rd year and final year and ask them that if within 2 days you submit you do a project, you complete a project, you don't sleep for 2 days, 24 hours. Will they do that? That commitment is there, that dedication is there. But I will do. I have worked 3 days, 36 hours without sleeping, and then I have slept on full day. So if the people are thinking that I will have the fish fries and just sleep in the afternoon and again in the night and then I will get up and blame government, that is not going to happen. Sorry. Technology is transforming, it is disrupting. So you have to wake up and you have to get up to that. If you are not up to that, then you are lagging. You have to embrace the future, right? I cannot run into 10 years back mindset now. They are also working till 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. And after that also I am not releasing them. I am telling why this is not done, that is not done. And they are also telling us, छोड़ो यार, इसका बकना शुरू हो गया. But it's okay. And if they are not answering me, I ask them, why are you not answering? Answer me.
So, ma'am, can you give a clear demarcation between industry 4.0 and 5.0?
Yeah, 4.0 as I talked about that AI in automation.
Some example.
From?
With some example.
With some examples. Okay. So as I talked about that 4.0 was mostly that worked on technology disruption. It worked on automation, it worked on AI, machine learning. Now when that is being done, then there was a need of bringing ethical practice, some policies like data, management part, then the sustainability part, because doing machine learning and saving lots of data, actually taking more power. It is not giving full zero carbon emission. So it is not actually that level. So now Industry 5.0 is aimed to do that work more efficiently. Wherein data we can use 4.0 in a more in a sustainable way, we can say. In a more the data compression.
Purpose is a huge requirement of power.
That is what we are working on right now, right? So that is the motto of Industry 5.0. Like where we can reduce power, where you can go for zero carbon emissions. How we can achieve that level? Apple is working Apple as a company is working on sustainability. Most of the companies are going for sustainability now. They are working on various compression techniques. They are coming with ethical policies which can be put on the AI. The industry practices.
So project idea that how that can be built with the students so that we can deliver some kind of project.
There are so many projects actually. So for going to 5.0, we have to start with 4.0. So first they should know what is 4.0. So 4.0 is full about transformation also. So it is about transformation. So you can ask students for a small cloud transformation. Okay, they can learn about cloud, how the cloud transformations are going into place. Okay, so that is cloud technology. Some people can take the cyber security. Okay, so how the data can be, analyzed, can some predictive analytics can be built on it to give you, a clear picture whether any fraud detection or anything happening in the server side, which can be detected in time before it happens, before any risk happens actually. So analytics is more about now, AI is more about now preventing than of prescribing. So we are not working on anymore that whatever has happened and we are analyzing that. No. Now we are working on to prevent it, so that the risk doesn't happen. If the risk happens, then we have to do the disaster control. So right now we are working on more of analyzing the data and we are preventing it. That okay, here are some anomalies. So if you see a camera sensor data and you analyze the data like how the people are moving in front of the camera. Okay. Now suddenly you see that someone is going with a vehicle. So AI is capturing that with a gun or something, some vehicle. So there is an anomaly in the pattern. So before actually any crime happens, you are detecting it and you are telling, you are putting your security or you are doing a data transfer to the necessary department so that they can take some actions. Again, AI cannot take the action, human beings are required.
That is 5.0.
That is 5.0. 5.0 is actually making 4.0 better. In a more sustainable way to do predictive analytics and more prevent the risk.
Can you give us some example that in the manufacturing sector where there is a hazardous subject which is not good for the human, how this industry 5.0 will be? Like I can give you some example. There is some kinds of in the manufacturing sector temperature is being maintained in the manufacturing. So there, how the industry 5.0 will be included?
So what is the question? Like how?
How to be included? I mean, some kinds of applications or examples.
Okay. So let's say about the safety system. Okay, most of the manufacturing industries have the safety system. Okay, so previously even when I joined Tata Steel, we have a training, we have a 7 days visit in the raw material site, wherein we have to visit the plant and the raw material site as well. And kind of we who are not very plant people, like we are not working in the plant, right? We are from IT. Yeah. Okay. It is working?
Yeah.
So those who are not going to the plants actually on a regular basis, we are IT, but it is just a a knowledge of the awareness given on the how the safety is taken on the blast furnace, how they are doing the trainings and all. Now most of the Tata Steel projects they are building on AR, VR on the safety thing. Right? They are not taking students or taking the freshers anymore to that site, but they are actually showing the digital twin or the dummy of it, kind of with the AR VR technology, putting a blast, and they are giving the training of that site. So that is one of the examples. So like that, lots of transformation are happening. So it is kind of one of the example in supply chain. Lots of lots of transformation is happening on the part of data analytics. Kind of deciding on the the lowest route basically, where the the inventory is moving. Then the predicting the inventory flow of the system. So logistics is not a very small system; it's a very big system. So we have seen when I was in India, I was working with inventories of the gas cylinders. So how they flow from the warehouse to the customers, plants and all. So kind of taking the decisions on the lowest route. So that everything you can do with data only. So these are all the examples of supply chain from a safety perspective from the manufacturing point of view. And another good example is there, like nowadays, previously what we are doing is we are analyzing the historical data of the machines from the monitoring system of the control rooms and all. Now what we are doing from those systems or from those data, we are predicting actually when the machine will be shut down. If we are predicting any kind of anomaly, we are predicting when the machine will have a shutdown. And we are taking precautionary measures to correct, to take a corrective action so that the machine will have some repair, or like if it shut down also, it should not be fatal for any human being. So these kind of precautionary measures are taken from analyzing the big data itself. I think examples are good. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so apart from the project side, like what I was talking on the project side, so these can be, like Hariom and these people are working on robotics process automation. On the very first day, they are working on the robotics process automation for a workflow, and it is for a US client on the healthcare domain. Okay, so they are actually working in the client side. They are working with a real-time project of the kind of they are reading the workflow of it. So likewise, there are many workflows. A small workflow I have given them as assignment to complete. Just to like web scrap the data, they do the automation. I need some data, you web scrap, go to any website. If you can tell that I need a shared data, shared price data, or a news feed, maybe basically unstructured data. You go to any website and give me the data. Your program should work scraping the web. There are so many examples like that. Wherein I am not crawling into any website, I am just writing a program. My program is crawling into various websites and feeding me the data. Right? If they can do this one assignment, that is, like, well and good. At least they will have that knowledge that, okay, how automation works, how I have to workflow, like, automate the workflow.
Can you share some resources for that?
Resources, yes, definitely I can share. I think these people are good enough now to share the resources, but they have signed the NDA. So if you want any project-based resources, just like DM me in the LinkedIn, I will share. So any kind of assignments, if you want a project-based resourcing, like some resources which you can, like explain in the class or share with your students, just DM me. I have to find out. There will be many examples like that. In LinkedIn, you DM me, I will share with you. If any material also I will get, I will share. Okay, so I think I have explained most of the things. So kind of big data analytics now, we are into predictive maintenance. So kind of maintaining the machine on a predictive mode, where we are like seeing that the risk should not happen. So once risk is happen, it's a loss. Then we have to work on more of a disaster control, sort of the contingency plan. So before the risk happens, kind of like we have to predict and we have to maintain authority. Someone is having questions? Smart manufacturing. So smart manufacturing actually like deals with lots of control system monitoring, the machine monitoring. Then I don't know whether you have heard this term like just-in-time production. These techniques are applicable. Like Japan actually maintains very much these techniques. One technique is called Kaizen, and it's continuous improvement and development. So kind of these techniques are actually the part of smart manufacturing. So where lots of human and machine synergy is there, where human is understanding from the machine control system data and everything. Supply chain optimization, I have already given that example. So kind of you can see the lowest fruit, then you can see the inventory flow. You can decide on the inventory flow. I don't know how many of you have heard about Zara.
Yes.
Zara Yesterday, right?
Yeah.
It's a very like famous case study actually. So they have they have actually I would say mastered in the inventory control, bringing in daily fashions. Okay, their fashions are always like renewing, so that they're like if you see the last season sales and this season sale will be entirely different. So they are bringing in the fully like a new inventory lot. And they are doing that just with the data, like data analysis. So Zara is one of the, the case study which you should study on how they are doing the supply chain, like optimization. How they are doing the inventory control. Then digital twins. Already I talked about like most of the time it is not, like it is not recommended also to go to the real system and analyze the data. So it is like most of the time we we are building the same kind of data and we are simulating on the same data. So kind of seeing that what is the risks are there, what are the anomalies are there, what are the threats are there. So it is most of the time it is done on the safety and security system. Then on the real-time data where like human going and taking the training would be different, or like testing it would be different. So there we are building digital twins. Then human-machine collaboration, that is a part of Industry 5.0 as I have already talked about, and sustainable operations. So
is it possible to get the data from retailers?
Yes, retail industry is fully doing data analytics.
Yes, they are doing, but will they share the data with us?
See, for getting the data, there is a site called Kevin, so you can get download the data from there. So mostly you will get
From either we can get the data, but
the real data. The real data, there are some sites where you have to pay or take a subscription, then you can download some data. There are some sites which are there where you can get some real data. Okay, so thinking about details, I have one more example. So just don't take offense in this question. So how many of you drink on Friday night or Saturday night? Very good people over here. Okay, so there is a study on Walmart that every Friday night actually they were seeing that the diapers, there is a correlation between the diaper sale and the beer bottle sale. Every Friday night. Not all the days, only Friday night. So where the diaper sale is very high, and with that the similar kind of correlation they have with the beer bottle sale. So they just analyzed it and why it was happening. So on the analyzing those things from the written question. So analyzing those things, they come up to the point that mostly on the Friday night, the father comes to take the children's diaper and they take a beer bottle also. Okay, so along with the diaper, they take a beer bottle also for the weekend. So that is a kind of a most trend that, because other days the mother is going and bringing the diapers. So on the Friday night, the father is going and he is taking a beer bottle also. So on that analysis actually that help them like to understand how they can like accelerate their business. So what they did is on every Fridays they put the beer bottle shelf near the diaper stores. So that it is very easy for them, convenient for them. Those who are not drinking also they will take a diaper and the beer bottle. So this is how like business thinks about like how they analyze the data and how actually like accelerates their like business doing decisions mostly. Because at the end of the day it is all profit for them. So they have to like make their business. Right, so this is one example, good example I remember now. Sorry for the offense.
Actually, father will have to take this, so every day he used to take son to the toilet. That he is taking this with the help of a diaper.
I think sir is relating the thing.
This another aspect of
Raise the hand.
Okay, so a little bit come to the like the analytics side of it. So for the data analytics, the biggest thing is the statistics. So most of the statisticians are doing the analysis, but yes, the non-statisticians also they have to understand a little bit of the statistics to do the analytics. So this is a little bit of overview of it. So now we will understand that what is descriptive and what is inferential statistics. Okay, so I talked mostly about like predictive things, so I will come to that part. So these are the two major branches of like analytics. One is descriptive analytics and one is predictive analytics, inferential analytics. Okay, so by statistics definition, we know that collect, organize, summarize, analyze and draw conclusions from data. So that is the statistics definition. Now how it goes to descriptive. So when we are collecting, organizing, summarizing and analyzing, so that comes to the descriptive part. So you have some historical data, you are collecting that data, analyzing that data, you are kind of summarizing it, you are kind of drawing the visual conclusions from it, like visual patterns from it, so that is the descriptive part. Now what is inferential? When you are drawing like conclusion to a bigger population of data. Suppose I take a survey of these many teachers and I am kind of telling that okay, other teachers of West Bengal are doing this. So I am taking survey of 20 teachers and I am telling that okay, 200 teachers are doing this. I am drawing a conclusion to an entire set of population. So that comes as an inferential statistics. Okay, so here are the two major class of descriptive and inferential. Clear? So this is very easy to understand. So when we are just collecting data, summarizing it, analyzing it, this is all about description. And when we are drawing the conclusion from the entire set of population, that is inferential. Like we are inferencing something, right? So that is inferential. Okay, now let's do an exercise. Interesting or boring?
Yes.
Okay, so this is descriptive statistics or inferential statistics? Descriptive from the students? Inferential. Why it is inferential, why it is descriptive?
This is not random 60.
So because I calculate the mean value, so I first collect the data, then we calculate some, analyze it, so then I give prediction like this. Some conclusion we come from the all collected
Take
data.
out the mean average of the salary. Yeah.
So let's say it is.
Analysis is there, so it is this.
Anyone else? Why inferential? Who would say inferential? There is nothing right or wrong. We will just clear our conception. That's it. We are just brushing it up. That's it. Yes, why it is inferential?
I would like to emphasize the mean salary. That's why it is inferential.
No. It is descriptive because you are analyzing only 60 high school teachers. You are not drawing conclusion of the entire population. You are just calculating the mean of 60 high school teachers' salary. So that is descriptive. You are just collecting the data and kind of analyzing it and kind of taking some statistical methods to understand it. Right? You are not drawing any conclusion. You are not telling that okay, this will be the mean salary for the 2000 teachers. Right?
I cannot conclude also that entire
Correct.
teachers community has that.
Correct. What about this? This descriptive. Yeah, correct. What about this? Now this is inferential. How many inferential? How many descriptive? Inferential? Okay. Descriptive, anybody descriptive? Inferential, right? Everyone inferential. So we are taking a survey of the teenagers, some teenagers, and we are putting it that on the whole lot, that the Indian teenagers do see TV watch TV for 10.5 hours. Right? So we are just doing a survey on a small section and we are putting that conclusion. Because nowadays they don't watch TV anymore, they have the smartphones. Okay, so what about this one?
This is also
Inferential. Yes, yes. So basically it is very simple. When you have a whole population and kind of you are drawing a sample and you are doing an analysis on that sample and you are putting that conclusion to the entire data set.
Madam,
So,
I have a question.
yeah.
Why the last one you are telling inferential, that is very correct, but then inferential within present time, that may be basically predictive also.
Yeah, it is
Like the last
like
one.
the
is a
last
predict-
one.
predictive
Yeah,
analysis.
yeah. So inferential is mostly like dealing with the prediction part. So it is going to the predictive analytics part because you are concluding something. Okay, so when you are actually doing some like calculations on a small sample, you are analyzing a small sample, you are putting that like all population. So that is inferential statistics. So it is very simple. Okay. So let's understand, like some basic things, like what's the, like understand the data first. Like data analytics is part. Whatever the data, let's understand data first. Okay. So data can be about two types. That is qualitative and quantitative. So what is the qualitative data according to you? I can share this PPT with you, not a problem.
Data which cannot be measured.
Fluid cannot be measured, right? Yes. Any examples?
Like image, voice,
Emotion.
Okay. Anyone else?
Bright, dark, this kind of things.
Correct. Categorical data. Categorical data. So basically, qualitative data is categorical data, where you cannot measure the data. Quantitative data is a numerical data where you can measure the data. Okay. Now again, categorical data are of two types. That is nominal categorical. Like qualitative data is two types: nominal or categorical, and ordinal. What is ordinal data? Any idea?
Which can be represented in order.
Correct. So you can have a, you can say that first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Even I can say that very large, like like t-shirt size.
Scaling.
Yeah. So scale. So I am actually ordering. Very large is bigger than the large. Large is again bigger than medium. So there is an order into it, right? So it is again an ordinal data. Okay. Quantitative data is discrete and continuous. So continuous is more about like where we have the decimal point. So as simple to understand. Discrete is where there is no decimal point. It is always a whole number. Okay, and there can be interval ratio. So let's understand this in a bigger picture. So nominal and ordinal already I have told. So interval is that where you have a negative starting point. You don't have a zero starting point. So any idea like what can be interval data?
Temperature.
Temperature, yes. Right? Temperature can be minus, right? So we generally say minus 30 degree, minus 5 degree. Okay. What about ratio scale data? It has always a zero starting point. So it will always start from zero. So can our age be a interval data? No.
Negative is not.
Can your salary be interval data?
No.
Bank balance can be, right? Yes. Okay. Many a times my bank balance goes as interval data. Okay. So let's do an exercise. Like the first one is age.
It's not.
No, what is it? What type of data it is?
Okay.
No. It is continuous ratio. Continuous age can be like like you can say that 2 years, 5 months, right? So it is a decimal value is actually ratio. And it's a ratio because it can never have a negative point. Right, data point. What about weight?
Same.
Same.
Ratio.
Okay, disease?
Interval.
Disease is
Nominal scale.
categorical data. Nominal data, yes. Sex?
Again, it's not.
Categorical data. Okay. Country? Categorical data. Hair color? Categorical data. Income?
Interval.
No, not in
You
the
can say categorical also.
Sorry?
Categorical also. The
Which
range and the income.
Or income. Yeah, that I will come to that. Yeah. But in a general sense, what is income?
Income is not categorical.
Interval.
Representation can be categorical.
Yes.
Representation can be categorical. But in the normal sense,
Income can be categorical only on slab. If you make
yes,
some
correct.
slab, then
Representation of it. So as a normal sense, it is a continuous data. Continuous ratio. Okay. Number of people in the meeting room?
Ma'am, can you please repeat income?
Income is continuous ratio.
Continuous.
Okay. Number of people in the meeting room?
Ratios.
Discrete data, right? Discrete ratio. Correct. Okay. Number of words in a city is same. Discrete ratio. Because it cannot be decimal value. Right? It is always a whole number.
Discrete ratio.
Right. Coffee size, SML. I already given an example. Temperature? Interval. Yes. Continuous interval. IQ test score? No, it is not a normal test score. IQ test score.
Discrete
It is discrete
ratio.
The continuous.
It is ratio data.
because it doesn't start from
It is a continuous interval. Because it can be negative. It is IQ test. That's why I said it is not a normal test. It's an IQ test. So where we have the negative mark. Okay. So apart from this, there are 2-3 certain things. One is identifiers. Identifiers are basically the data which is coming from the database or the data source. It is a unique ID which is associated to the like the element or the entity, like the category ID, product ID, customer ID. So it doesn't have anything on the analysis part, but it is just the data which is flowing in. Ordinal and nominal data can be converted to numerical. Now this is interesting. You can say this example. The second one, ordinal and nominal data can be converted to numerical.
Through the signal?
Through the
Signal.
signal.
If I make the signal card.
Normalization, like.
Just give an example. I hope I am not making you too much brainstorm.
What was the question?
What is the example of ordinal and nominal data can be converted to numerical? Like you can represent it as a numerical format.
Ordinal or nominal data that can be
Represented as a numerical data.
On the salary range that is structure is ordinal.
movie review. Movie review.
Movie review? No.
1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, poor quality, good quality. It could have been written in that
And the
way.
ratings can be, yeah. One example, again,
If you capture the image of hair color, for example, then this image can be represented by different RGB combinations, and once again it will be converted to numbers.
Okay. Too much technical again. Okay. But yeah, good example. So basically, like ordinal data machine cannot capture. So most of the times we have to encode it to a vector data or a number data. So if it is a male female, maybe you can represent it as 0, 1, right? If it is a country like India, America, like country names are there, you can represent it as a number. Okay, so you're feeding machine that okay, 0 means India, 1 means America. So most of the times ordinal data or the nominal data category of the data, they are feed into machine as a vector representation of it. So machine cannot
ASCII codes.
ASCII codes, yes. So machine cannot understand actually, the nominal, the text part actually.
ASCII code is not ordinal.
Yeah, it is not ordinal, it's alphanumeric. Okay. So how does last one, numerical data can be converted to the ordinal?
That will be image.
Okay. Numerical data to the
University grading system. University grading system, like per marks you are having.
Yes, correct. Correct. Like ABC, that Okay, so one example he gave, the salary range, the slab. So you can put it as like 10 to 50,000 it is a low, then put it to 1 lakh it is high. So you can actually change numerical data slab into representing as a nominal data. One can be age also, like you put 5 to 10 as children.
Body mass index, body mass index, BMI.
Body mass index. So you can put that as like
So age.
Age category I can also.
So I think this is good. Okay, let's move. Okay, now any idea on what is AI, ML and DL? Especially the students. Because we are starting it now. AI, ML, lots of buzz is going on. AI, everyone listening AI. Everyone is talking about AI.
ML is a subset of AI and DL is another subset of ML.
Good. Anyone else? Like what is AI actually? So many people are concerned about replacing human beings. Now it is about mimicking human brain. AI is nothing but mimicking human brain. Right? So it is artificial intelligence which you are creating, like replicating the human intelligence. So AI is actually, like the superset and enables machine to think, as I said. So ML is a subset of AI where we actually train machine with the data. You could like giving them intelligence kind of. Okay. So there are three things: supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement. So any idea what is supervised machine learning? Level data. Who said it? Yeah. Right. Level data. So when actually you are feeding the machine that, say for an example, you are feeding 10,000 images of cats and dogs, and you are leveling them. The image 1 is of cat, image 2 is of dog. So you are actually feeding the pixels, and you have the level data. You are making machine to understand that this is a like the exact level which is given for that image. And then you give an unknown image where the machine can understand, okay, this represents a cat or a dog. Okay, so it's a level data. What is unsupervised?
Weather forecasting.
Low level is associated with the data.
Unstructured data.
Unstructured.
Your social media comments. Good example. It's an unstructured data. Okay?
Structured data can also be
Articles.
unsupervised.
Huh?
Structured data can
Structured
also be
data.
Structured data is supervised. Basically, you have the structure, you have the level given.
No,
It's a level data.
if I predict some value, then only it's unsupervised.
Unsupervised is where your data is not structured itself. You cannot put it in a, if you put in an Excel columnar format, you cannot put it in the Excel columnar format. Can you put Facebook comments in the columnar data? No. Your document, you are like reading a research paper. You can put that data into columnar format.
Unstructured data can also be used to supervised pipeline, and structured data can also be used for unsupervised learning.
So see,
For an example, image is not structured data; it is unstructured.
See,
but
basically
as you already
is-
said, it can be used for supervised.
Yeah, so basically, like labeled data, if you are, like structuring the, like that is a representation of the data. Basically, your research paper. So you are labeling that research paper, okay, this is the research paper which is of the history domain, okay, journal or the history journal. When you are labeling that, that is fine. But if you are, like structuring anything inside the paper itself, it is fully unstructured data. Because so many texts, so many sentences, so many paragraphs are there.
Yeah, that is true, but it depends on how you feed into the pipeline.
Correct. That is a representation. But mostly unsupervised machine learning talks about, like when the data is itself unstructured. Like your Facebook comments or social media comments, then the, like any documents.
No, suppose we are predicting some simple house price prediction. It is structured.
That is
data.
structured.
Yeah, but that is also dealing with, ML thing, right?
That is ML thing. So ML actually basically has three things: supervised machine learning, unsupervised machine learning, and reinforcement. Now reinforcement deals with that. So it has a mixture of combination of structured, unstructured, supervised, unsupervised, and kind of like wherein it is actually given all the historical data, and then if it goes to unknown environment also, it is kind of like recognizing it and understanding it. So reinforcement is a little bit tougher one because it is kind of like working on the both kind of data. So clear on this part? Okay, the last part is the DL, that is the deep learning, and deep learning only talks about neural networks. Okay, so any idea on the neural network?
This is special kind of ML algorithm used highly when you have huge data set like big data one.
Complex problem.
Yeah, and
very
then,
complex problem. Okay, so let's forget about the problems. Let's forget about neural networks. Very basic question: what is a neuron?
The structural unit of, the structural and functional unit of nervous system.
So it is like, like, because she is now in school, so she can answer that. Most of us have forgotten. So neuron is the bare minimum unit of our nervous system. So that is what we have studied. So neural network is built on the neuron concept. One neuron is connected to another neuron, right? So likewise, neural network is built on connecting numerous nodes or the neurons. Okay, so it has an input layer, it has hidden layers, multiple hidden layers, and it has an output layer. So neural network is actually, like where we talk about like artificial neural network, convolution neural network, and recurrent neural network. So ANN is very simple. Like it is about, like when we are talking about neural networks, and kind of it is taking only like the data. What we can say, structured or unstructured, but it is kind of like little bit complex data it is taking, the artificial neural network. But CNN actually like it is little bit more complex because it is taking the images, videos. Okay, so that there actually we need to convolute the data. So there are actually techniques of it. I won't go deeper into it. Just understand this. The CNN is more on like feeding the image data or the video data. Like where we are training the model on the imagery data, that time only we are using CNN. And RNN is more on time series data, like the stocks and all. So whatever the performance over the time. Okay, so maybe in the next session I will be covering more deeper into the ANN and CNN, a little bit more deeper into it. Okay, now data science and data analytics actually like deal with all three of this. So it is kind of dealing with the AI, it is coming out dealing with the ML, it is kind of real because it has a core part of it like statistics, linear algebra.
And actually, science is in A.
Oh, sorry. Sorry for the time. Okay. So statistics, mathematics, and linear algebra. Okay, so where it is dealing with all these, like core subject and the core concepts, and it is dealing with all the, like the three sets basically.
In calculus is also one important part should be there. Without calculus optimization.
Then I have a question. With some example, can you give us the idea where we apply ANN, where we apply CNN, and where we apply RNN? Because we need to deal with lots of data.
So
our students will be able to decide where we apply ANN.
Yeah, so deep learning we are not dealing with unless the problem is very complex. Only with the scenario where there is a terms of. In terms of like the data, first of all the data is very big. There are numerous parameters where you need to train the machine, and which is not possible with simple machine learning algorithm. Okay, so the hyperparameters, the tuning is like, and there are lots of feedback mechanisms which will go into it. So artificial neural network actually like it goes on works on basically two technologies or two concepts. One is forward propagation, one is backward propagation. So forward propagation where everything moves forward, like like the information is moving to the input layer, to the hidden layers, to the output layer. And backward propagation wherein actually it understands, okay, whatever is my output is, it is not actually the real, or there is some loss, there is some mismatch, there is some gap. So it puts that gap again in the system, and again it like tune its hyperparameters and the weights and the biases, and again it pulls it forward. So it's a full continuous cycle which is going on, and which is not like the example for a normal machine learning thing. Okay, so normal machine learning thing as what is said house price prediction. It's a normal machine learning algorithm. You can take any algorithm, even the linear regression will work on it to predict the house price. Okay, but there are certain like the problems which are not for the normal.
It depends on the data set itself. If it is linear in kind, then you can
use. If it is linear in kind, then you can put linear regression. Right, so I'm taking an example. So like that, there are so many like normal machine learning models which are available, and every day actually like scientists are building new machine learning like the algorithms. So there is random forest, there is logistic regression. So all these are normal like the machine learning models which are like these can be applicable. But when actually you want the machine to understand, to feed itself with a gap to like to reduce the error and again like do the forward propagation, where we need a system like like that artificial networking is needed. So there only we are using AI. So it is not like a matter of a simple like the prediction we are using deep learning. Deep learning is rather more for like a complex problem. Like nowadays you are using GAN. Okay.
Sentiment analysis from image.
Correct. So image basically when we will talk about image, we are doing actually the analysis on with a CNN basically. Because ANN is not sufficient to like understand the image part.
Mainly data parameter. If is large, then based on that you will classify this ANN, CNN or RNN.
No. Or not only in data parameters, the complexity of the problem also. The complexity, how complex is the problem? If your problem is not solved by the normal, like the machine learning algorithms, like we said, that it may not be solved by linear regression. Okay, so you have to understand from the data, understanding of the problems, that how it will be solved. The digital twin data is a very complex data. Suppose you are like simulating an aircraft, that how it works in a express situation, and there is a huge data and like lots of mathematical calculations and lots of like computation is there. Your normal machine learning can never like do that, because there will be always errors, and you have to keep on feeding to the machine, and machine will itself do that through its neural networks. Right? And CNN comes where the image is concerned. Why image is concerned? Because let's take an example. Let's take for the house price only. Okay. So let's say you are putting the house price into your machine learning. Okay. Sorry. A. Okay. Let's say it is a complex house price prediction. So you are putting into A. Take an example. So for the house price prediction, what are the parameters it can be?
House size,
plot size,
Floor area, number of bedrooms,
carpet area,
location, number of bathrooms can be one of the parameters. Okay, so these can be some of the parameters. Now you have identified some of the features which can actually predict your house price. Say 3 features are there, mostly floor area, number of bedrooms and the location. So you have identified 3 major parameters. So your input layer is only 3 neurons, 3 nodes. Right? So, based on your number of features which you are feeding into the machine, your input layer is decided on that. Then you can like compute your hidden layers and how many hidden layers are there and the output layer. But the first neurons, number of neurons what you are taking is based on your number of features. Now let's say you have an image of 1386 into 1000 pixels. So what will be your neurons, number of neurons in the input layer? 1386 into 1000 number of neurons you will need reading in the input layer. If it's an 8 by 8 pixel image, you will need 64 neurons. For a bigger image, you will need that many neurons. And just think about the computation. It will be kind of taking 6 million or I don't know more data like out of that. So it is not a problem of ANN anymore. Then you need to like compress your data. In every convolution, in every filtering, in every slide, you have to compress your data. So there we talk about CNN.
Actually, in ANN there is no scheme to highlight the features of the image. Otherwise, you can deal with image with ANN also. But it cannot highlight the features. This is one. And second thing is it is position. I mean, you cannot track the position. Suppose I am showing an image of cat like this. if you rotate it, it will not be able to
So
detect that.
basically the full filtering part.
Yeah,
what you are
otherwise it can deal with images also, but when you use CNN, it becomes independent of that. Wherever you place the image of the cat, or if you make the edges on all these things thicker, or even if you shrink them, there will be no problem. It becomes positioning.
So
very good.
basically, like that, from there only the convolution theory comes, because you are convoluting, you are creating the filters.
Yes.
So there we are, addressing those problems with CNN. So this is majorly about ANN, CNN. Just moving to the next slide. Okay. Now this is very important. So this is very important for the faculty members to understand, because they will be teaching it to the students. Now about various roles in the market. Okay, so we talk about data science, like people going to the data science career. So being a fresher, it is very difficult to approach for a data science career.
Madam, would you please give an example of digital twin projects which can be given to students?
You it will be a little bit difficult for them, digital twin, because first of all you won't get live data to simulate. But you can you can do of the smaller section of data, kind of like taking some cosmetic data from ATAL or somewhere else, and you can see the stock price thing, you can simulate the risk cascaded. Okay, so that can be a good simulation.
Stock price type what they have done already, share market stock prediction, or with recurrent neural network or time series.
No, I am not talking about recurrent neural. I am talking about simulation.
Yes.
So digital twin is mostly on the simulation. Basically, you are simulating on the number of data and you are simulating on the
We need some simulation software for that.
You can use multi-color simulation. Multi-color simulation software is like multi-color. I will go with multi-color. I have an example of that.
Yes, I have seen one paper of Procter and Gamble. Actually, he is one of my friends, and he has done with the cosmetics and the multi-color simulation.
Multi-color is available in MATLAB. Anybody using MATLAB, they can do multi-color. Otherwise, it can be like I do it in Excel only. So in the normal Excel also you can do multi-color simulation. So yeah, so there are a number of roles. So first, let's be aware of the roles what are there. So first thing in a data analytics scenario is business analyst. So everybody knows what a business analyst does. Students are very silent today. Excuse me. बताओ ब्रेनस्टॉर्म करो कैसे करते हैं बिजनेस एनालिसिस. Hariyo?
I could.
Okay, so business analyst is a person who are like bridging the gap between a technical and a non-technical person. Okay, so what do I mean by a non-technical person? Basically, who are your clients? Who doesn't have anything like how this can be done technically. Most of the manufacturing industry, product industry, we are going for automation. But they don't have any sense on how automation can be done. How you can code it, how you can translate the entire thing to a technical viewpoint. Neither they will understand any of your technical assumption or anything. Okay, so he is the person who takes the requirement, who translates the entire thing to the technical team, and who tells that this is what client wants. Okay, so starting as a fresher as a business analyst would be little bit difficult, but yes, the people who have strong conviction on the negotiation skill, good communication skill, who can mostly deal with the clients and kind of taking the requirements, and it also making them understand the most stressful situation, like what can be feasible, what cannot be delivered feasibly. So those are the people who are doing business analysis. Okay. So this is the first person who is like in the data science project, like taking the requirements from the client and understanding the problem statement. Okay. Now the next person who is coming is data analyst or data scientist. Now before that there are 2-3 roles before this person, but I will come to that. Now what is the difference between data analyst and data scientist?
Data scientist, maybe they will be.
Analyst is a technical person. From an engineering backgrounds and all. And data scientist are more who are doing the research.
Analyze. Data analysts are those persons which uses algorithms which were devised previously. But data scientists are those persons they create the algorithms for the specific problem.
Close but not exact.
Data scientists are more senior roles than the
So nowadays industry is mostly there is no difference. So they are actually taking data analysts and data scientists and the vice versa. But the thing is that there is a slight difference. Data analysts are the people who are like analyzing the data, cleaning the data, pre-processing the data. They are doing all nasty things like getting their hands dirty and kind of doing visualization or like doing some recommendation on it. But data scientists are people who actually put the statistical concepts onto it. Like if any statistical test needs to be put to it, like F test, E test, any hypothesis building they have to do. So those people are actually data scientists. So data scientist and data analyst, there is a like a minor difference. Like data scientists have little bit edge over the data analyst because they are not only doing the nasty things, but they are also like little bit well versed in statistics and mathematics, so that they can implement those concepts into it. Okay, so there is little bit minute difference. Okay. Now before even these two people come into picture, there is a person who is actually bringing those data to the data scientist and data analyst. So this is a career where like engineers can start with. So if you are like aspiring for the data scientist role, don't go for data scientist or analyst, go for data engineering role. Wherein you can learn something, you can little bit learn, do some cloud certifications, and actually like do some training on the clouds and all. There are so many cloud trainings are available in YouTube, in Udemy, Coursera. Okay, so kind of do those tutorials and little bit get like the hands-on experience, like how cloud is configured, how data is pipelined, mostly on the data pipelining thing, how the web scraping is done and all. Okay, how you like take the external data, how you store it, warehouse it, mine it. So those that is the work of the data engineer. Okay, they have the high SQL skill, they can query on the data. Okay, so they can bring the pipelines, they can query on the data, they can manage the web scraping part, bring the external data into the system. Okay, and how to store the data. So all this area they are actually seeing. There is more of a configuration than of a like a experience is needed. So it is more of configuration so that you can easily learn it and do it. So anybody who is going for data scientist, as a data scientist or data analyst, first try with data engineering part. Okay, then you can slowly move to the data scientist or data analyst. Okay, because it will take some time, 3-4 years. First you need to understand data, how it is pipelined, how it is maintained, what is the type of data, how you have to flow the data to the analyst. Okay, so this part is little bit easier to start with. Then another person is there who is sitting as a DB admin. Anybody can tell what is the word for DB admin?
Database admin. Database admin.
Database admin. Anyone? So DB admin is a person who is basically securing the data. He is putting all the policies on the data. He is giving you the authentication and the authorization. And who can view the data, who can edit the data. So he is the administrator of the entire thing. And he is like managing the entire section of like giving the authorization, authentication, putting the data policies and everything in place. So this person is also a little bit experienced person. You cannot start directly as a DB admin because you should have knowledge of the database first.
So he might be altered the data also.
No. Alter the data, yes, he has the full this thing. Yeah, he can Because he is giving permission to the others to alter the data. So he obviously having that capacity. Okay, so these data now flowing to the data analysts and data scientists, and they are doing kind of like all the visualization thing and kind of building the reports, data reporting and data visualization, and they are like putting that in the dashboard in the form of dashboard or in the form of report, and they are giving them. So here actually entire life cycle of data ends. Okay. Now there is no need of machine learning for 70% of the project. Let me tell you very clearly. Because most of the projects ends with cleaning, properly managing data, data handling activities, reprocessing data, analyzing the data, creating the visualization of it, and from the visualization itself you can give some recommendations if the analysis is done properly. So till here there is no ML involved, and 70% of the projects doesn't need ML. So people who are thinking about ML and AI for a very high, because those are very much buzzwords, not very much utilized in the very complex scenarios. Most of the data science analytics projects are solved here. Okay, now coming to the ML part. Okay, now the model creation part. Okay, so now the data scientists, as I said, they have the statistics knowledge. So if any model creation, model leverage is required, because there are so many machine learning algorithms already available. So they can deal with that. Okay, because they have the statistics knowledge, they have machine learning knowledge, they can train the models. Okay, so they can deal with that. But if you need to create a new algorithm, then the ML researchers are coming, as you were talking about. And these people are very, very niche people. Their salary will be 2 CR annually, even in India. And you won't get these people in a very high, high demand also, high supply also. Because they are, PhD or the research holders, and they are doing all the time these for only very niche people in the statistics and mathematical background. Okay, so they are the scientists basically, as you can see, they are inventing new things, new algorithms basically. So if your current problem is not solved by already existing machine learning algorithms, then this comes into picture. So their demand is very, very low, and the supply is also very low. Okay. So next comes, and this is now the next section where the freshers can try, that is as a ML engineer. Now ML engineer, what does he do? He actually, deploy the training model, whatever is built, or the dashboards to the cloud. Okay, so after whatever is built, the model training and everything, now comes the deployment part, the Docker part comes, imaging of it comes. So they deploy the entire thing to the cloud, and they put some monitoring on it so that they can monitor it properly, how it is performing. So here also the freshers can try with some kind of training, cloud trainings, the Docker training, little bit of Jenkins knowledge, they can actually do this deployment. Because most of the machine learning projects are actually deployed as microservices APIs. The models are wrapped around APIs. Suppose you are building a recommendation engine, or even say a chatbot. Okay, now you have trained the model with the NLP and everything. It is working, like whatever questions you are putting, it is answering. Now how you will bring it to the front end, how the front end developer will bring it, call it. So it is in form of the APIs. So they are using the microservices. So that deployment actually is done by the ML engineers. So you can try on this part as well for the students basically. So two things you can start as a fresher, as a data engineer and as an ML ops engineer. Okay, so with the ML ops part. So and another what you can start with is a data visualizer, like as a data analyst, not scientist. As an analyst, like reading the reports, like if you can master in one of the reporting tools, like Power BI dashboard or Tableau, it will be good for you. It is some value addition, like doing some visualization thing. Okay, so there also you can start. So this is mostly on what are the various roles available. Apart from this, there is a data analytics manager, who is managing the entire project. So all of these people are reporting to the manager. So he is the project manager, he is the PEO, he is doing the daily stuff, the product backlogging, how it will be like delivered in the scrums or the sprints. So those things are like handled by the manager. So that person is having experience and kind of he has rose the ladder and become the manager. Okay, so where the freshers can start the 3 points as a data engineer, as a MLOps engineer, and as a data analyst from the visualization perspective. Okay, so if you can like master any of these three, it will be very crucial for you to get a job. You will get a job. Data reporting and visualization. Okay, so before even going to this, can I know why data visualization is important? Anyone?
To draw conclusions from there.
Why you cannot do it in a tabular data? Why you cannot do it in a tabular data?
Clearly, presentation is already
Better.
to visualize anything.
Right, so little bit let me show you something. So I have prepared a data. Now it is very important to understand why visualization is important. That is why I was telling to the students that you can master any of the visualization.
Visualization for the end user or visualization for the
Visualization for
developer?
end user also and for an analytic perspective also. It is important. Because when you are drawing conclusions, you are analyzing the data, visualization is always important. Because see, I have taken a few data, okay, some few rows of data. I think your rows of data is there, data point. It is talking about different flight costs and delays in minutes. Okay. Now if I ask you which flight has delayed in which month and mostly delayed, like delayed mostly in which month and what is the delayed minutes? Can you see the tabular data and tell me?
It needs more time.
It is just only 12 rows. If I take like the lakhs and lakhs of rows, how you will be able to like even visualize it? Right? You cannot visualize it, correct? Okay. Now if I show you this. So the same data I have taken in a visualization format. Now can you tell me which flight has delayed which month and it is the most delayed flight? You can tell, right, easily. See the data. Which flight? 36. NK and on the month of June. Right? Just in a glance you can tell that okay which flight has delayed most. But when I show you the tabular data, nobody could tell you. Like they don't have the patience even to look into data. Correct? So this is where the visualization is important. So to master a visualization tool is very, very important. Like if you are like studying now, try to learn as much as possible. Don't think that okay professors or teachers will teach and like it will be part of the not the part of our curriculum and we won't learn it. Because there are so many YouTube videos that are available. YouTube is the best teacher nowadays. I learned from YouTube. So try to grasp one of the tools. A Power BI is free. You can download Power BI and you can work on that. My own sessions are there in the YouTube that like how to implement NLP in Power BI. So those things you can see and implement yourself. Right? So this is kind of like the importance of visualization. Now there is a like let's go back to PPT again. There's a niche difference between visualization and reporting. Can someone talk about it? What is the difference between visualization and reporting?
visualization is required to focus that you have already written. Where the issue
analyze.
is, where the outliers or noises are.
So visualization has two things actually basically important factors. One is to analyze ourselves, right? That how the data is performing, what is the current trend, what is the like outlier and everything. Therefore, that visualization is important for the analyst perspective. And also, like if you want to build a dashboard and everything, that is also part of the visualization. But that comes of a more of a reporting. Okay, that you are generating some report and giving to the end user. Where you are not analyzing anymore. You have some already even like KPIs, key performance indicators. You are actually showing that, demonstrating that okay, this is your sales figure. This is in this month. Okay, and you are giving them like some interactive feature that you change the year, change the month, and see how the is changing. So that is more of a reporting part. Right, so there is a little bit difference between visualization and reporting. So visualization is more of like analyzing the data yourself. Okay, so I have already covered this little bit of like the benefits and also already you know this thing. Okay, so I will share this PPT. So here are some tech tools which you can go through for the visualization like Power BI. You can do good interactive reporting with Excel as well. One of my session is there in the YouTube. So like how to build an interactive dashboard with Excel. So Excel is a very powerful tool. So there also you can do an interactive reporting. So lots of visualization you can do with Excel. Okay, so these are some of the tools you can see also. Okay. Then see, now what a business wants to see, why they want to visualize data. What a business wants to see from a business perspective.
Madam, have the coffee first, then we will continue.
It's okay. I will have it later. Now my voice is dry. I have to drink some water. You want to take a break?
No.
I thought that's why the coffee invitation. Okay, if you want to take a break, like we can take a 5 minutes break.
I have one question. Suppose I do not have any engineering background. I have just done plain BA or something like that, or history or something like that. And then now I want to switch to data science or this kind of career, data analyst, business, whatever. So where shall I target? I mean, all this role that you have just discussed. Where
As
should
I said, if you really want to go to hardcore, like machine learning and data scientist, that role, you should start with analysis. Like you understand how to read data. First of all, understand data. How to clean the data. Okay, like how to like draw the visualization. Even like put small statistical formulas and check the mean, median, and all this stuff. The normal distribution, how it is behaving. So kind of understand the data first as it is. Don't go for machine learning first. First understand on the data side. Because there is lots of experience required in the data. Because lots of time it is required that you have to effectively scale the data. I will come to that. Like where like figures are coming differently, like your height. Some data is given in feet and inches and some data is given in centimeters. And where the centimeter data is already falling in the outlier section. But then you know that okay, there is a scaling problem. You have to transform it to the single, like the uniform kind of a measuring system. But if you don't have that understanding, okay, why this data is happening like that, then you can never do it. So it comes with experience. Lots of times we are facing problems just like for the like the lack of knowledge that why this data is like this. Because if you have the knowledge of data, then only you can put proper like parameters or like transformation of the data itself. Like these are just the data input errors. It is a typo, like I have meant SSA, right?
So like that they can target for business analyst or this kind of engineer.
Correct. So you can start with basically with the analysis part, like how to clean the data handling part. Then you can slowly move on like how to apply ML models. So first, try with like very concepts of statistics, the very basic consumer statistics, not the higher ones. Very basics like how to see the normal distribution, what are outliers, how to see a box plot, what is the interquartile rate. So all those things you start with, and then along while you can move to the machine learning.
I have seen job advertisements when they write the JD. LinkedIn, I have seen many companies, they only just mention graduation is required. And they do not, specifically mention do I need STAT or BSc, something like that. So that was my question actually. If someone from English background or history background, they want to dive into, yeah. So that is my question. Have you ever, hired anybody who is from that background, or you know personally who is from that background?
See, I will tell you very honestly, I take interviews. But that skill set, when it comes to me, that you have to take interviews of these people, that comes from the HR. So they have a designated, things already, designated education for a particular role. Okay, they have decided a education level for a role. So I don't have much hands-on work. But if you talk about me, I will purely go by, your knowledge or the skill set or the assignment. Because I don't believe in asking technical questions or going in the person's technical background or not. Because as I said, I have hired a 10th dropout Stanford also. Because it was in my hand to select the candidate. Because I have seen the potential in that person. Because a person who is hacking, able to hack, who is a solid coder, then I think there is nothing like it. I need it. His technical background or he doesn't have a college degree, it doesn't matter to me. So my evaluation criteria is a little bit different than the industry follows. So yeah.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Ma'am raised one point that automation will require more power. But in my case, what I have done, it is contradictory. Because in one of my programs, if a human does the same thing, for a single document, if it's a data entry job, it will take him around 4 to 6 minutes. But the program that I wrote, in 15 minutes, it can process around 4,500 data. We tested it.
Yeah.
So it actually saves a lot of power.
Correct. So actually it depends on the use cases. Probably what ma'am has said, maybe she has, put more stress on the, the humanoids or the robots, who are taking more powers than actually a person who is working in the factory and moving the goods here and there. So ma'am's use case is a little bit different than what you have worked in. So it depends on the use case. There will be positives and disadvantages and advantages in everything. But I think we will evaluate a system based on the value addition, what value it is giving at the end. Because if it is not giving any value, then there is no point in going with that system, right? Business will see for the value, like what is it saving me, what is my return on investment.
But if we go the humanoids or different automation routes, it's actually more efficient.
Yeah, so that is why industry 4.0, right?
Yes, it will save us more power.
And to make it sustainable, industry 5.0. Right? Can I have some coffee now?
Ma'am, when we are talking about this sustainability, so then this nanotechnology is also in this place, na? To make things, yeah, so making the quantum things and all for this sustainability.
Quantum computing is still, in a very much, research.
Research based, yeah.
It has not, in a very nascent stage it is now. work is happening.
Yeah.
And yeah, you are right. So basically, generating AI needs lots of data, training on lots of data. And here actually we are, some research are going, not we are doing, but currently. But yeah, some companies are doing research on, implementing quantum computing on the data to bring the more sustainability because it works on qubits.
Very, very, very low power
Yeah,
devices.
low power devices.
Yeah, that's the thing. So,
And also I think it just stores the data in the 4 quadrants, like qubits. Like
Yeah,
we have the binary, now it is storing in the qubits. So yeah, there is a possible use case there, but it is still in the very research stage. You read it about
a few months back, I have watched a video of Professor Cow. So he said that
I think IGM is doing
that quantum part. Quantum computing. And one more thing, ma'am, if someone is doing this teaching and all, that means learnings from YouTubes and from Udemy, because it's very less cost. So then it will make him or her sustainable. So any certifications is doesn't.
You don't need certification if you have knowledge.
That's the thing.
He or she can directly apply. Many people have certification, they don't have any knowledge.
Yeah,
That's
the more cases.
You should know how real-time things are done. That is the objective. See, that is why I said now IT is moving to a different era altogether. It is not looked into 10 years back an interview, formal interview is happening where the background is questioned. 10, 12 at the graduation mark there is no flaws. The overall 60% should be taken. I think Infosys, TCS, all of them are following the same trend. Even Accenture is looking for the 60% throughout data engineering graduation. But startups are not looking into that. I always tell the people the startup is actually the startup culture. If you see in Bangalore and in Delhi and Mumbai, I think wherever it is a little bit less, but now still it is booming. They look for more of a street smart person. Because what they will do with your background.
What is your startup name?
Shihar.
How is it spelling?
SHIHAA. It's after my daughters and sons. Shirin and Yashas.
Shihan Tech Global Alliance, that one.
Hariom and Ayushi of Abhijit. They were interviewed. Shobi.
And they are doing very great. They are almost having these meetings to actually they are not, they are having a hard time in satisfying me. So,
You working on AI products, right?
they are now working on robotics. Next month we will start something on blockchain. That's why he said I am sleeping 4 hours.
So you dealing with products or giving some AI services?
No, we are doing services as well as products. So product I haven't launched yet. So maybe next 6 months it will take to launch our first MVP. So there are some ideas which we will try to build a prototype and test on a go to market, how it is going to market. But since I have some experience with a similar kind of prototype, and kind of I have felt that there is a requirement on it. So if we went to a small and a medium scale enterprises, it will be kind of going to hit the market. So that is my interpretation. But again, entrepreneur's interpretation is also wrong. So
what kind of AI services currently you are providing?
AI services. Okay. So AI services clients are asking for, like from building the conversational AI till, like something, like the generative AI we need to do, we are providing that.
So you are working on generative AI.
Now I am working on generative AI. I am working actually more on the data engineering, like data compression techniques, like as a part of Industry 5.0, the sustainability part, and setting a roadmap for GenAI.
Maybe you are targeting the branding industries probably with generative AI.
Not exactly. Now we are actually, like doing some in-house prototyping for Google itself. So we haven't thought about, like which industry it will need. It can benefit many industries, but still it is in the, like prototyping phase. So Google has taken a, like a good strategy now. They are laying off their own people and they are putting their burden on Accenture, TCS, IBM. Like they are co-piloting with them because their resource shortage is there.
Yeah, recently I have seen they are laying off almost 12,000 people.
17,000.
I have actually got a notification 12,000, maybe I'm wrong.
And that is kind of, like on a Zoom call they have kind of laying off. Like from tomorrow you don't have to come, kind of. I think they are giving some penalties also, like 3 months salary and all. For that they have lost some like CRs of rupees also, like CRs of dollars also, like millions of dollars. But still they are taking that mode. I don't know. Like what is their strategy?
So currently you are outsourcing your projects or you have hired permanent employees?
For my startup?
Yeah, for your startup.
It is in a very nascent stage. I am not in a position to talk about it also.
Okay.
Like I am fully embarrassed talking about it. Still,
No,
I even like
idea is great actually. Thinking about an AI organization.
like still I achieve something. I think we are just trying about it. That's it. And these people are equally trying with me.
Yeah.
I think for last 2-3 days you people have slept well because I have like coming here in Calcutta and like preparing for the session and everything.
Actually, that was not much of a use because on Saturday and Sunday we didn't get much of sleep. We were at a hackathon.
Another one is there.
She's on the way.
She is always covering up for these two. Because these two never give response and she is always, no, MD, it is not their fault. But I always see a leader in her. Seriously. Like she takes the hit. She will call me and takes the hit. Okay, can we start again? Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, so basically for different industries, they have their own set of KPIs. So I have little bit put on the banking and finance industry because that is the most sector, like most industry domain I have worked on in the last 17 years. I have worked in other domains also, but yeah, I have seen that every industry have their KPIs, what they actually try to understand. Like key, like key index factors or key performance factors. So indicators basically. So for banking, it is kind of, like, I will actually, like, share this slide, you can go to it. Kind of, they see that return on assets, there are some ratios they see, basically, return on equities. So there are terms which they are, like, want to highlight. So from industry to industry, it differs. From the supply chain, it will be different, something else. From the retail, it will be different. So it will be the sales figure and so kind of, like, you can go through this KPI. So I will just, like, skip this part. So it is just some definitions given. Okay, so this part I have already completed. Okay. So some techniques, this will be now interesting. So let's see. Can someone tell that why we use a line chart? Now all kinds of of data and for all kinds of visualization. So knowledge of charting and visualization is very important for visualization first of all. So where we use line charts. Stops. But to be more specific, students,
The range.
whether it
Time series data.
time series data,
X-axis, Y-axis can be a plotting.
all the data is plotted against x-axis and y-axis. No, it is basically time series data. Basically, when we are seeing the performance of the data points over the time, like the stock prices, weather forecast, weather data. Okay, so you are seeing over the time that how it is performing. So it is a time series data where you put the line chart or a even like a trend line, basically. Okay, bar chart.
It's a categorical data.
Categorical discrete.
Categorical, right. Pie chart.
Same also categorical or sectorial data we can say.
Pie chart, but let's say like there are too many sectors available.
Sectorial data.
But if there are too many sectors available, will a pie chart be like optimum chart to show or visualize? Where the pie arcs are very small basically. You cannot hardly visualize, like if there are 100 sectors available. Will it be applicable, like a pie chart will be applicable for that? No. So for that again we have to go for a columnar chart or a bar chart. So pie chart will be applicable most apt when the sectors are very less, maybe maximum 4 to 5. Right, where you have a clear visualization what is the proportion of the data. Right, then each of them is taken a continuous bar chart, you can say a continuous flow of data. Now this is very important, the scatter chart. Where do you use a scatter chart? Students, more from students.
Visualize some data sets we use to scatter. For example, the breast cancer data set.
Discrete type of data
Samples
sets.
of the
Discrete type of data sets.
distributed.
Any other answers?
Unlabeled data we can say.
Where you are drawing some correlations. Okay, so say suppose I don't know whether you have let's take an example. House price. Let's take an example of house price. Okay, so if you want to correlate like how your price is correlated to your square feet of the area of the flat, of the house. If you want to correlate that, okay, whether it's a positive correlation or a negative correlation, like if the area, square feet area increases, whether the price will increase or decrease. So when you are finding that correlation between the two data points, then you use scattered chart.
For the comparative study.
Comparative study. Clear? And again, I don't know whether the students, I don't know, might have worked on the IDs dataset. Have you worked on IDs dataset? So why you didn't say that? Like when you correlate on the width and the height of the petals, you put the scattered plot. Okay. Now this is very important. Box plot. Where do you use box plot? Now this is a very like important chart.
Deviation from its when there is a deviation from its mean position.
Yeah, it is mostly used. Like why even we use a box plot? Yeah, you can see the deviation, that is one thing, but mostly it is not commonly used for that. It can be used for that, but most commonly it is used for a certain aspect.
Its position representation, where it is lies actually, in between a circle range.
Yeah, that is deviation what he said. So basically to find out outliers in the data we use box plot. Now I have to tell what is outliers, okay. So let's take a salary, okay. So salary of 5 people, okay. So 5 developers with 5 years experience. So you are getting a salary range of almost like 1 lakh. Some people are getting 120, 110, or some people are getting little bit lower side like 80-90,000, okay, per month. Now in that section, like if you have to predict the salary of like the 5 years developer, I mean so and so skill set, right? You have to predict the salary. But if your data set is containing, like giving you the average of, like you are putting the average of the entire salary, and your mean is coming as kind of 3 lakhs, then it is not the true mean of the data, right? Because your developers are getting around 1 lakh. Say take the median as 1 lakh. So mean should be 1 lakh or 1 lakh 10. But whereas you are getting as 3 lakhs. Now why that thing happened? Why your mean has shifted? Any idea why your mean has shifted to that 1 lakh, like 3 lakhs from 1 lakh? Any idea? Now say in your data set, a very senior people's data is also included. Say CTO salary is also included, which is kind of 10 lakhs. So 1 or 2 CTO salary included, definitely when you take the mean, it has got shifted. It is not giving you the true picture of the data anymore for the 5 years developers. Right? Then it is very essential to understand the outlines. That where you see, like where is the, like why the data point shifted so much? The means shifted so much. Then that CTO's salary is actually your outline. And to understand that, the outline will always lie outside of the fence. So if you see in this box plot, this is what we do. So you can see this is median. Okay, so Q1, Q3 is the first quantile, third quantile. Okay, and then the fence, the right fence. The formula of it is Q3 plus 1.5 into IQ1. What is IQ1? IQ1 is this range. So it is Q3 minus Q1. Basically, interquartile range. Okay, so your right side fence is this Q3 plus 1.5 into IQ1, and your left fence is Q1 minus 1.5 into IQ1. So any data falling outside this range, it is your outlier. Any data points. So say if you have the 10 data points of the 10 developers and with like with the noise data of a CTO, then it will definitely fall in this section. Outliers. Okay, so if the outliers are coming, what you have to do is eliminate them. You cannot like do a machine. You cannot train a machine without machine. Like do a machine learning or train a machine with the outlier data, because it will never give you the exact picture. Because it is like mixed with the noise data. So in this case, CTO's data is a noise data. So it will always fall in this boundary or in this boundary. If it is very low, it will be in this boundary. It will be very high, it is in this boundary. So this is one of the most important plot to understand the outliers.
So it is also can be used as a data cleaning.
Yeah, it is used in the data cleaning, like handling the outliers, analyzing the data basically, and one of you said that it is also like seeing the like the deviation basically. So that is also one of the major points, like how where the data is falling, whether this side. So that is also a factor, but mostly it is used for like seeing the outliers. Right? Any questions? So mostly I think I have covered the visualization part. So how much time is left? How much time is left? You can take 15 minutes. 15 minutes break. Because little bit more is there, I will come to Monte Carlo simulation and all. So one example is there. So we would like to cover it. Ma'am, it will continue up to 30. Now what is the time?
12:15 around.
12:15. Okay, so 15 minutes will be a little bit less. Can I
You
extend
can
a
make,
little bit?
yeah,
Yes,
you can.
Let's start with this. Okay, now what you asked actually about, like the data analysis thing. So this is the code of the project. So 70% of the project you have to do EDA very well. That is exploratory data analysis. This is the core of it. So try to learn more on EDA, do as much practice you can do on the EDA part. Even for you students, like if you are aspiring for data scientist role or analyst role, do EDA as much as you can because that will give you the data knowledge. Okay, so it is kind of like the same thing as I said, like analyzing, understanding the patterns of the data, cleaning the data. So that is all about your actually exploiting the data and going into it. Right, putting some statistical methods like understanding mean of the data, median of the data. Okay, how the data is like deviated from the mean. Kind of like building kind of a like a sales of the data basically. So here actually like there are two things basically done. So before going into it, so this is just a like a what is a pictorial representation, where if the data comes to you as a raw data, then you do lots of EDA and the data cleaning, like you actually like reprocess the data, and then you are actually putting that data into machine learning model. So machine learning model you cannot put garbage because garbage you are putting in, you will get the garbage out. So your data must be very clean and machine ready to put into the machine learning model. Okay, so once you are like very much confident that the data is very good, it's a clean data, good to go, then only we are putting it into the machine learning model. So before that, lots of feature engineering we are doing, and those feature engineering is actually comprising of data cleaning, data wrangling, data understanding of the data itself, data transforming, scaling of the data. So lots of processing is going on the data part itself. So to start with the machine learning, first you have to understand the entire concept of EDA. Right?
Madam, if the data is not labeled and we are doing recommendation with that type of data, how we can do the metrics from where we can recommend that our algorithm is good?
Yeah, so
in case of labeled data, it will be easier from confusion metrics, but from unlabeled data.
Yeah, so for unlabeled data, we are doing lots of sentiment analysis.
Yes.
So we are putting NLP into picture.
Yes, in case of NLP, when we are doing the unlabeled data, if the data is like that,
okay, can you give me an example, like what is a noise in unlabeled data? Can you define noise in unlabeled data?
Yes.
Like, can you define noise in unlabeled data?
In case of
suppose take the social media feedback or the responses.
Yes.
What is the noise in that data?
If the information is not given proper way, or
like
that means if the rating to be given as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, if anyone don't give the
but it is an unstructured data, no? You cannot expect someone to put only 1, 2, 3,
yes,
4.
yes,
They can put very good also.
yes, that's certain.
They can put, wow, it is very amazing.
With the help of feature engineering, I can replace the very good as 4 or
but how you will understand what is noise? There the data is as a core data to you. How you will understand this is not good data, this is bad data, this is noise.
I have to analyze the sentiment.
Sentiment.
I have to analyze.
Right. So you are doing sentiment analysis for that.
So if that means sentiment means I am totally I have to apply that.
And you have to do the intent classification. Right? Suppose you are seeing a product feedback.
Yes.
Okay, and
but how can I understand that my classification is correct? That I am doing.
Your classification.
I am applying NLP, natural language processing. I am applying, and through some metrics, how I can understand that my classification is good. Suppose I am doing one music recommended system. So in music recommended system, the data is given that music classification. I am applying clustering algorithm. Now suppose the cluster is that this is of classical type music, this is of
genre
type song, like that. The
genre
clustering has been
okay
done.
So how you are understanding that what is the genre of the music from the label or from the feedback? How you understand?
From the feedback.
From the feedback.
From the feedback.
So feedback from the feedback you are understanding first of all there is no bad data, good data. Because you will have trolls also, you will have negative feedback also, you have all kinds of feedbacks there. You cannot control that.
Not only the feedback but other features, that means the name of the singer or that or tone, that type of data.
So those things you can get from NLP itself. So when you put your intent classification, so most of the time you are getting the sentiment of the data, how it is. Whether that feedback is, like whether the genre is expressed there, or like the singer's name or any name is coming there, proper noun is coming there. So those NLP can already like understand. So there are different things about NLP. NLP can like tokenize words. It can like understand what is noun, what is like the parts of speech of the sentence.
Yes.
NLP can understand that. NLP can understand that in which context that word is used.
Yes.
So suppose if I say the churn analysis, NLP will understand that this is for the retention of the customers. It is not the like churning the cream out of the milk. So churning means it is also like churning the cream out of milk. It is also the retention of the customer, right? So but in the English context, in that context, what it means, NLP understand that. Okay, that ambiguity of the word.
Yes.
Right? So when it has an ability to understand the nouns, verbs, the parts of speech of the sentence, when it has ability to understand the intent of the sentence, so it can actually, it is the first classified parameter for you for the unstructured data.
Yes, madam. NLP will understand and it can do the disambiguation, etc. It will classify accordingly. But how I can understand that using that, applying NLP, my classification system is correct when the data.
See that you have to put them into a machine learning model.
Yes.
You don't have to understand that machine, the model itself will understand.
Yes, model itself will understand. But when there is supervised algorithm, when there is the label data, then it is given. That means
see for the
column is given. One is for the.
So let me give you an example for the label data also. Say there is 3 lakhs or 4 lakhs data or say 3 lakhs of data.
We classify it into
No problem. You classify it. You have trillions of data.
Yes.
How you will understand that machine will like read it properly and you will give you proper result? Trillions data you won't go to check, right? Is it possible for a human being to check? No. Then how you will understand if it's a good data, bad data, whether it's labeled or not? It is labeled correctly in the first of all.
No, what I understood from her question, she is asking for, are you asking for classification or clustering?
Anything.
No, first of all, we need to understand that classification only can happen when you have, when you are using supervised algorithm. That means you have label with you.
Yes.
Then only you can perform classification.
Yes.
And if you are doing clustering, then we are going to the unsupervised one. We do not have any kind of label.
Yes.
Now you need to understand that you cannot use any kind of algorithm to any kind of problem.
No, but for recommending something, if I want to recommend.
So when you are building recommendation system, most of the data the system gets from the metadata itself. Who is zoner than the singer and all these things. That comes from the metadata. Very few inputs come from the comments. Maybe from comments you can say you like or dislike kind of thing. And when the recommendation, they are recommending you on the basis of your first choice. When you choose it first, then it makes some changes, random changes to its variables in technical terms, and then they will provide you with some other recommendations. That is how it is working. That means they previously already trained with some data. So it is basically not clustering kind of thing going on. Even if it is semi-supervised algorithm, you can say.
What I want to mean, if in case of this type of recommendation,
What is recommended in the first place?
Should I go to for survey, that I will survey some people and according to that
that is how the recommendation engine will work. So it is not just for me. Maybe I will be looking for some other thing. So what are the songs or the kind of music you are looking or you are searching on a daily basis or you are mostly commenting on, you are interested in, those kind of data is only coming to you as a recommendation. Because the recommendation engine when put into the system, they are actually tracking what you are liking or you are seeing the most. Suppose in YouTube I watch mostly like data science oriented or digital transformation oriented tutorials. Okay? Now those will be only coming to me as a recommendation. First of all, if I am not looking into political news, then it won't come to me as a recommendation. But people who are seeing the political news, so those things will be coming as a recommendation at the first step. So it is not about like a 10 people survey, it is on your personal tracking system. So I am as a customer, I am going to Netflix, I am watching like a particular genre movie, I like thriller movies. So only similar kinds of movies will come as far as I am watching it. It will track that what I am watching it for the last 10 days or 5 days. Mostly. Or I am searching for. What are my search keywords? Right, it works on that way. Now based on the clustering, different types of algorithms are there. Like it actually sees, like it cannot be, it may be wrong also. But seeing the different parameters and features, it clusters, okay, this is the nearest thing which we can group into. Right, so like we use the KNN clustering algorithm. Like the nearest neighbor we are seeing. Like, okay, it can be wrong. The machine can predict wrong. Right, but it is a kind of a nearest thing which is giving to you. And first of all, let me tell you, AI is not 100% correct. AI can give you only 85% result, like which is correct result. Then after that, human has to see and supervise it, and again they kind of like go on tune the hyperparameters so that it comes to the flows as 100%. But still, it never gives a 100% result. So it will be always there will be flaws. Like even in your clustering algorithm, it will be flaws. Even the classification data, if it is wrong, as I mentioned, it is not possible for you to write that to say where it is wrong. But maximum we can do is that we can do some cleaning. We can check the outliers part, we can do the missing values, we can do that. But if the total leveling is wrong for the trillions of data, we cannot do change that. So there will be always some wrong data which will be putting, but it will be trained in the majority of the data. Okay. So data analysis first start from the first step as data sourcing. So data sourcing is like if it is a very big company, then there will be like chances that they have their own data centers and data sources, data lakes and everything. But if it's a small company, they don't have enough data, they always rely on the external data. And sometimes they get some subscription and get the live data or the live feed. Sometimes they just do the web scraping thing. Kind of where the publicly available data is there, they web scrap and brings the data. Okay, so there actually data sourcing comes into picture, then the data cleaning part. And then we do lots of like feature analysis. Like what are categorical features, what are numerical features. And we do types of analysis like univariate, bivariate, multivariate. Okay, so univariate is like when you are putting analysis on only one variable. Bivariate as a name suggests, it is only two variables, like the scatter plot. Multivariate is also like like when you are checking multiple things at a time and you are like checking how they are correlated. So likewise, there are like for the numerical data also there are certain features like trends you can see, distribution, how they are distributed you can see. Even there are some derived metrics in the data. So what are derived metrics, any idea? Okay, so suppose you have the sales figure and you have the cost of production, but you can derive dollars of profit depending on like some small basic calculation, mathematical calculation. Like sales minus your like whatever the cost going, total cost, and you can derive the profit. So likewise you can derive some data if it is required for analysis. Okay. So this is one of the examples. There can be many other things like total quantity sold. So suppose like the single quantity price is given and total sales is given. You have to take out that how much total quantity sold in that particular month. So you can derive the data. So not always the data will be given, but something you can derive also from the given data.
Madam, in case of sentiment analysis, I have one example, like the tank full of water. So which tank I am talking about? The human being can say that the water tank. It is not the military tank. How we will detect through the sentiment analysis?
So sentiment analysis is like, first of all it will give you assertive or a negative this thing. Now if you are doing lots of, like lemmatization or tokenization, then you will understand that what kind of, like the word or ambiguity of words it is.
Which type of algorithm?
So what is your use case here? To understand the tank, what kind of tank it is, or whether it is full of water or half filled with water or no water?
No, which type of tank it is, I have to recognize that one. So
See, so that depends actually on your context. So basically,
yes.
So in this case, it doesn't make any much problem, like if it is a military tank or like water tank.
No, actually the military tank can't, it's not the relevant to the text, that military tank can't full of water.
Give some, like the preceding sentence or the, like the last sentence or the following sentence from where you can predict. If you just give this sentence, the tank is full of water and you want to predict that, is maybe not, like the NLP cannot understand. Suppose I am telling that I want to do the churn analysis. So when I say churn analysis, definitely I am not doing the analysis on how to make out the cream out of the milk. So from there it is the ambiguity is fairly solved. The churn means here that I am doing some like retention analysis. Right? But if I say that the farmer is churning the cream, but then it is like it is very clear there. But tank is full of water, if any container is full of water and to understand that which kind of tank it is, then you should have a preceding text and the following text.
So using the preceding text and the
from there it can understand. Like somewhere it should be, if you are like putting up entire paragraph and somewhere the military tank that itself is used, then it can understand that okay, this is kind of like a military tank we are talking about.
Madam, in case of both, if the paragraph contains military tank and the water tank at the same time.
Yeah, you can try with ChatGPT. See what it is giving. That is the best result. Right? So put both in the paragraph and see like what is your see. Actually it depends on your use case. That what you are asking for. Right? Whether the tank, which is a military tank or water tank is a context, then you have to like put more relevant data onto it to understand it. But if it is your water level or like the tank is full of water, what is the water level, that is your this thing, then you will put accordingly. So it all depends on what you are feeding into the system. Right? Okay. So here actually we talked about the steps of the EDA. Okay, so let's see like little bit more into it. So on the data cleaning part. So now how we handle the missing values. So what is meant by missing values? Any idea? What are missing values?
Missing value means someone has missed to type the particular thing.
The data is not
The particular 10% are not recorded.
Yes.
not recorded. The data is not
blank.
It is blank. So how we can handle it? First of all, if the data, the missing value, number of missing value rows are very small than compared to the entire data set. Suppose you have a data set of 1 lakh data and suppose only the 100 rows are missing. So you can safely delete it. Right? So if the data set itself, like compared to the data set, your missing value rows are very small, you can safely delete just those things and go ahead. Because it won't, like do much, difference to your entire data set if you delete that much small number. But if it is a big data set, which is say for the 1 lakh data, your 90,000 or 80,000 data has a like columns and a missing value. Then what you will do? Or say kind of like a considerable data set, like 50,000 has a missing value. then we cannot delete 50,000 data because itself the data population we are reducing. Then we have to do something about it. Now we can impute missing values based on certain things. If it is a numerical value, then we can replace it with mean or median. Okay, based on the data. Now it is always replaced with median because as I said, because mean will be having some problem with the outliers because if there are outliers, it will always shift to the outliers. So median will little bit comparatively give a better picture. So generally we replace the numerical values with median. Now what about the categorical values? If the categorical data is missing, what we can do about it?
We can use mode.
Okay, let me give an example. Like I have a credit, I am analyzing the credit score, okay? And I am analyzing the people who have taken credits or loans, right? Now say a maximum number of population of data, the profession is missing. But by mode of the remaining data set is doctors. Can I tell that whatever is missing, they are all doctors? Just think about it.
No, if your example is that specific, my strategy will also be that specific. I have told you just for a generic.
No, I am telling
yeah, in
you
that
are
case
right.
we can go class-wise.
Yeah, you were right. But at what level we can replace with mode? There is a level. See, if 50,000 data set is not, the profession is not
That's
available.
what I said. I mean, we can go class-wise in that
Yeah.
case.
So if the majority of the data is missing, the categorical data we cannot never replace it with mode. Instead, we can replace with some unknown variable that it is unknown. Because we don't know, it is an unknown category altogether. But if a small number of rows are missing, you can keep safely, replace it with mode. That is fine because that won't make any difference.
But if you make it unknown, then the another cluster make. It will make yes, it will make the
that
another
is still
cluster.
safe. Then you are putting everyone as a doctor. You don't know about that data, so you are just nullifying the null value basically. That is still safe that you don't know the profession than putting it as a doctor.
No, it's not.
Then say if your defaulted list comes, then you will see that okay, the most defaulted people are doctors. Then that is not right to talk, tell. But if it is like a kind of 100 rows are there which are missing and there are 1 lakh data sets, then you can safely you can replace with mode. That is fine.
In that case, we can remove them directly.
You can remove them. You can remove them if you want. You can replace them. So if you have a smaller data set, you can do that, but not on a bigger data set.
100 for million, we can remove them.
Correct. The next is interpolation. Now this is very interesting. Can somebody tell what is interpolation? I am expecting some answers from students.
Adding something.
Yeah, but there is a technique on that.
What's in previous cell? What is the input in the previous cell? And the input in the remaining cells, and we can predict or we can write down the.
Not exactly, because it may not be the same. Whatever your previous cell said, like something is missing, it may not be the same case.
By correlating correlation.
By correlation. So basically, say I will give you an example. Say your loan data. Okay, the people who are taking loans on the goods. Right, so basically when we buy a fridge, refrigerator, or say we are buying a small electronic equipment, so we are taking some loan, right, on EMI. Now your amounts of goods is given, like the good price is given, and whatever loan you have taken is given. Now for a row, say your good price is given, but your loan, whatever amount of loan you have taken is missing. Then you can safely replace with the price of the good. Why? Because your maximum loan will be the price of the good. If you are doing any down payment, that is fine. But we are interpolating something, right? We are just putting replacing the missing value. So it cannot go to the price of the good because you won't get the loan for it. Right? So your maximum you can take the loan is your price of the good. So you can safely interpolate the price of the good to your loan amount. And the vice versa. If the price of the good is missing and the loan amount is given, so mostly you can put the price of the good similar to the loan amount. Right? So now somebody can say, I have done 50% of the down payment. But most of the cases it will be correlating. Two factors will be always correlated. Right? It will be going hands on hands right now. So that is interpolation. Now what is extrapolation? Anybody?
Shrinking the data. I have more data and I don't want to use them all, but I want to keep all the information which are important. I want to keep them, then we can go for extra.
Predicting not exactly.
Outside the range available, we want to predict.
So basically you are predicting something seeing the pattern of the data. So let's say that you have 10 rows of data and the country is coming in the order like India, USA, Africa, Argentina, like that. Now in the next 10 set of data, suppose the first country name is missing. Then you are extrapolating, okay, like from the previous 10 set, this was a pattern and again this pattern is following. So 1 or 2 data missing there, you can feel that pattern with the last pattern which has followed. But it is not always same, it is not a good practice. It needs lots of experience to do that, so it is not, commonly done in the data analysis.
So basically it will be based on the past experience.
Yeah, like in the same data set only, you will see a pattern. Like this is a pattern which is following again and again. For the 10th set of data, it is a pattern following. Again, next 10th set of data, same pattern following. So then you are just predicting if 1 or 2 data is missing, you are predicting from the similar pattern. But it is not a very good practice to follow, so okay. So these are the mostly the 4 ways we handle the missing values. Okay, now about handling the outliers. Okay, so I think I have explained what is outliers. Now everyone knows what is outliers. Okay, so now first of all we handle outliers for analysis is do nothing about them. We just identify, okay, this is the outliers. We show it in a box plot, this many data is in the outliers. If we are not putting it in the machine learning model, doing a normal data analysis, we just identify them and keep it as it is. That this much percentage of data is in the outliers. Okay, because that will help in our analysis. But if you are training the model, then we have to do something about it. Okay, so first thing is that identify and correct the errors. So if you know there are certain typos happened, if you understand that typo, and from your knowledge and experience you know that this can be this data only, this number only, or this category only, then you can just correct those data. Like understanding of the data and doing the correction then and there. Okay? Then ignore the outliers. Whatever the outliers are there, just ignore them, take the rest of the data set. Okay, so that you can do, like eliminate the outlier protection. You can treat the outlier. How you can treat the outlier? You can put a threshold value. Suppose for the salary example I have given for the developers, if you say that till 2 lakhs I will take, after 2 lakhs I won't take anybody's data. So after 2 lakhs I won't take anything. So you can actually put a threshold, or you can put on the box plot you can put on the fencing this thing. That whatever the fencing number, after that I won't take anything. So you can trim it like that. Transform the data. I said about that height figures. If your salary is in dollar and Indian rupees, if you understand that okay this is in dollar and this is in Indian rupees and there is a mismatch, you can take it in one scale. So you can transform the data. Then impute the outliers. So similarly, how we have imputed the missing values, you can impute the outliers with the mean and mode and sometimes, like depending on what is the case, use case. Even by using the interpolation and all. Okay, so these are the few ways how the outliers are handled. think sharing this PPT is not a problem. Okay, so little bit I will go fast now. Now most of the things I have already told and discussed. So basically predictive analytics is what, like when you are doing some prediction, it can be weather forecasting, it can be like doing a credit loss prediction, okay, on some particular customer or a segment of customer. Okay, so that we do the credit risk analysis and all. We can do some fraud detection analysis. So whenever we are doing some analysis based on our machine learning or the prediction which the machine is given, that is kind of where we are using the predictive analytics. Okay, and it is very important aspect in today's period because today's market, because mostly we are doing predictive analytics now. Okay, to prevent the risk. So risk management is very important to prevent the risk. Okay, so there are 2, 3, 4 use cases I have put here, but there are many actually. So where you can do some predictive analysis on the quality, you can do on the churn prediction, you can do on the attrition, whether the employee will leave the company or not. So it is very important for the HR domain. Okay, so you can do like on the risk modeling, basically on the financial risk modeling. Okay, then the sales forecasting. So all these, and these are only the few numbers. There are many use cases where you can do predictive analytics on the main control system data, on the machine data, like the machine which are running in factory, as I told. Then the supply chain inventories, everywhere you can do the predictive analytics based on the data. Okay, so these are the very important steps how you can do the predictive analytics. So it is kind of the steps given. So already we discussed all these things, it will be going faster now. If any question, just stop me and ask. Yeah, so just the same thing. Okay, so little, I don't think that I will be explaining this now. But just like for a sake, like simple linear regression, I think everyone remember the straight line formula.
Y equal to mx plus c.
Y equal to mx plus c. So basically, if you have the two data sets, two data points, and kind of building, just imagine that you have like put some scatter plots on two variables, two features. Okay. Now you have to find out the most optimum line which is passing through all the points, or collinear with most of the points. So that is your best line of regression, or we say that a good fit. Okay, so that is actually like regression model is doing. And if you have one feature, that is y equal to mx plus c, that is y is an invariable data point, independent data point, and x is a dependent data point. Sorry, y is dependent and x is independent. Y is dependent on x, right? So you are predicting y.
Y is dependent on x.
Y is dependent on x. So y is dependent data point and x is independent data point. So when you have only one data point. But say you have multiple data points, say your salary is depending on your number of experience, your educational qualifications, then the city you are living in, okay, if it is a metro, then the company you are working in. So depending on various parameters. Then it is a problem of actually, like not a simple linear regression but a multiple linear regression. So there the formula actually changes. So this is the formula for it. So where you have the different, like data points like x1, x2, x3. So those are all, like representing your number of qualification experience, your qualification, the city you are working, the company you are working. So those are the like different data points, independent variables. And again you are predicting salary. So y is your dependent variable. So that is a simple example of multiple linear regressions. Now, can anybody say that what is the concept of this intercept B?
Bias.
Bias, but
so that is
But y-axis where the x-axis, where the point of the y-axis, where the x-axis cross, and where the regression line is crossed.
but little bit more elaborately. Bias,
because you need to place that line. You need to place that line such a way so that the distance from all the points they will be minimum. To do so, you cannot. You have to place it somewhere so that it can fit
it may not pass to the origin.
Yeah, so it will not.
Yeah, it will always have the intercept. Kind of little bit bias it will be having because we are following a good fit. So where the line is passing through most of the points. So there actually we are putting the line. Expecting some answers from here, but it's not yet. So this is another thing, prescriptive analysis, where you are actually finding the best course of action. So basically, like seeing the data and like millions of data, you are actually like prescriptive spelling, you are giving a prescription or recommendation that this will be the best course of action. Okay, so I will give an example. So someone is asking for the simulation, little bit pay attention to it. Okay, so now prescriptive analytics, there are different tools to do it. So one is multicolor simulation, so I will go through it. There are decision trees and other things also, AI, some machine learning algorithms are there. Okay, so but the primary thing which we are doing for the prescriptive analytics is multicolor simulation. And one person has asked for the digital twin thing. So digital twin is nothing but we are taking the real-time data and we are simulating on it to like to understand the anomaly or the risk associated with it. Okay, so lots of simulation we do. Like number of times we do the simulation on the data and we come to a conclusion. Okay, so let's go to it. So multicolor simulation, I will be little bit explaining now. Everybody can tell that what is multicolor simulation? No idea. Already made the faces. Okay. क्या है भाई? पहली बार सुना है. क्या चीज है ये? Okay. Sir, give attention, sir. Then you will tell that they are not getting job. Okay, so multicolor simulation is like the word taken from the city in Monaco where lots of casinos are there and they do like the game theories. Kind of they do the probabilities that like where it will fail and where it will pass. So from there actually multicolor simulation comes into picture where you simulate on the like taking the different probabilities of the wind of the like the roundlets and all. And kind of you make a prediction that okay, what will be your risk factor associated with it. Okay, so it is applicable on various things. First one is like predicting your risk in the cells, how much profit you will make. So that is one like very important major factor. Okay, so there we do multicolor simulation. Okay, so I am not going to the theory. So little bit like 2-3 walls are there. Like Elon Musk says, we are all probably living in simulation. So we are simulating large number of data again and again and again to get to a conclusion. Okay, so let's see a real-time problem of it. So these are all theories as already I have said. Okay, so this is little bit of the point concept of the multicolor simulation. So understanding where and see. Okay. So can anybody tell what is bad and CLR? So from the explanation itself it is given. What is bad? It is value at risk. Okay, so these two things we actually derive from multicolor simulation. One is value at risk and one is conditional value of risk. Value at risk.
3% or more.
So if your bad 95 is 3%, that means you have 5% chance to lose 3% or more on a given day.
3% or more on a given day.
Okay, so 95 means 100 minus 95. So you have 5% chance to lose 3% or more on a given day. Okay, so that is a understanding of the
3% or more on a given day. At a given day, 5% data.
Okay, that is a formula. Okay, value at
5% data useful. 3% data.
Okay, so that is a formula. Okay, now what is C1? Anybody can explain this?
No,
Anybody can explain this what is C-bar? And tell me also which one is better, bad or C-bar? So C-bar is conditional value at risk. And C-bar tells in the worst of 5% of returns, like C-bar 95 is 4.5%, or let's say C-bar 95 is 3%. The same example for the bad. So it is saying that in the worst of 5% returns, your average loss will be 3%. So which one is better, bad or C-bar?
C-bar. Because of before that, that is the 3% or more. I don't know the upper limit. Here the
range is much more focused. That you are 5% of the worst cases. You are getting this much loss.
Yes.
Right? So your range is more focused than the bad. So that is why conditional value at risk is better than a better understanding than a value at risk. Right? So let's take an example on this. So it is just showing you like bad is little bit less accurate, C-bad is more accurate. Okay, so let's take an example of this. Okay, so now let's take this example. Now steps, forget it, just see this problem statement. Someone who was interested in simulation, just read the problem. So this is a very basic one, but we will see how to do a simulation. Once you just finish with reading, just tell me. So we are actually determining some risk factor associated with our profit. Whether we will lose or we will gain, and what are the risk factor associated. Right? So for that we need to do some simulation. Okay, and how simulations are done. So this is one of the examples. So if you see here, the cost is given, the administrative cost is given, advertising cost is given, labor cost is given, and then parts cost is given per unit, okay, and selling price is given also per unit. Now what we don't know is we don't know the demand, like how many things are getting sold actually. We know only about the manufacturing cost, we don't know the demand and the probability how it is determined. Okay, so let's see the simulation. If you want, I can share this Excel also. So I do the simulation in the Excel. This is a VBA code written in the like the back of it. So to run the simulation. So this is basically like I have taken some like random. Like I am doing the simulation for 5,000 times. So this formula, if you see, it is a random between 1 to 5,000. So I have just taken a sample number. So these you can actually like eliminate also. It is not required, but it is just like have the unique number that how many times it is running. Okay. And now if you see, I have put all the costs here, the admin cost, the advertisement cost, the labor cost per unit, the cost per unit, selling price per unit, everything I have put. I have taken what else? I have taken mean of the population and SC of the population is already given in the statement. So these two things are already given. Okay. Now I am taking my probability. Okay, like at what probability my demand will be occurring. Okay. So this is also again a random function, which will give me a probability of 0 to 1. So if I put this as a random variable, so it will give me a probability. If I just change it, run this simulation, it will again change. So I can run this simulation multiple times. Okay, so it is just a code which is written, which is just simulating again and again. So it is based on the formula. So this is a random function which is written over here. This is a probability which is given. And now what is my demand? Now if I assume my demand follows a normal curve or that Gaussian distribution, then this is a formula of the demand. So Excel gives a formula of the normal curve, that is normal in, and what it takes, if I just put here in the formula bar what it takes, you can see it takes probability, mean and standard deviation. Okay, so probability we have now, this is a random probability. Mean we have, which is given in the problem statement. Standard deviation we have. Right, so we can actually like simulate on the demand. Okay, so this is the demand which is coming.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
the probability of what?
Probability of the demand.
So
Probability of the sales basically.
so actually I want to sell 500 quantity.
No.
So based on the probability calculate.
No, like say 487.
Or it is a market survey that.
It is a market thing. So basically 487. This is your sales because this is your demand, right? It is your demand means you have to supply that. So it's 487. What is the probability of getting this 487 demand? So that is 40%. Right? So it is a random simulation we are doing, and based on that you are calculating some variance here. And we will do it multiple times. It is like like I have taken only for 500 samples. So you can take one or more, like a sample, and you can run the simulation and check your variance figure again and again to prescribe anything. Okay, so this part is clear.
So these two are not equal. Demand and probability.
No, demand is your number of units which are getting sold. And for that, what is the probability of getting that unit sold? Probability means what? Probability means the chances of getting those units sold. Right? It is always a decimal value which will be occurring from 0 to 1. Right? So you are taking it a random number from 0 to 1 and you are accordingly, like you are calculating your demand.
One is the predicted and another one is actual.
Both are predicted actually. Your demand also you are predicting on different probabilities. Because if you see your demand function is based on your probability, mean and standard deviation, assuming your demand is following a normal curve. So depending on the various probabilities and various demands, you are checking what is your profit point or break-even point. Right, and you are simulating this data and multiple times. Okay, so what is your profit then? This is a derived matrix, as I said, the profit is not given in the statement, but definitely you can derive it. And what is the formula for that? So in your total sales, so what is your total sales? What is E2 here? E2 is 3,500 per unit sold. Like it is a cost of per unit, right? Into C8. C8 means number of items which are sold. So that is the total sales. Total sales minus these two costs. The labor cost and the parts cost, these are given in per units. So again it will be per units means whatever number of parts which are getting sold. And this is the total cost which is given advertisement cost and the admin cost, that is actually subtracted from it. Right? So this is the formula for your profit. And actually you run it like again and again and you get your variance figure. So there is a formula for variance figure. So it is this formula which you put, basically percentile of your so percentile of your entered data, and you are seeing the bad of 80%, so you are putting 0.2. Because 100 minus 0.2, like 10 minus 0.2. 100 minus 80, that is 20%. So similarly, there is a formula for CVAR. So this is a formula for CVAR. Okay, so like this, you are calculating your VAR and CVAR again and again to simulate it, and you understand that what is your worst possible cases where you will get the lowest return. That is the condition for your CVAR, right? So where is the the worst probability or the worst sales happening, where you will get your lowest return. Worst case scenario you are getting and simulating it multiple times and you are prescribing over it. Got it? So if you want, I can share this Excel. So there is a VBA code written over here. It is not a very like a sophisticated code, but kind of it will do the work. a very small code is written basically. Okay, so this is a small project which is beneficial for the students also. I think for doing these also they have to write some code, they have to understand some formulas, and the formulas will be changing based on the use case. So here I am actually checking the profit. My use case can be different thing also. The problem statement can be different and my use case will be different. One second. I11. Yeah. I11 is where that is a fault. Okay, so likewise you can put, like you can take the where receiver at different conditions, like 80% confidence level, and 90% confidence level, and 95% confidence level. And you can check, like when you are 95% confident, what is your lowest return? Right? That condition you can pick. So based on that, you can take some, like decision which is backed by the facts and figures, and of course the simulation. Cool. Any questions? Okay, so I think we are good with this. So the next session, I think I will go more on artificial neural network. So this is the thought of the day. If someone is interested to read. Okay, and there is a 5 minutes refresher this way. So let me just quote it. Your audio will play me?
Audio. What is the second one?
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah,
How do you see the intersection of AI and big data for industry 4.0 and the intersection?
Okay, intersection of AI and big data means AI is different on big data.
There are some intersection now. AI,
See, you cannot do any artificial intelligence. Like how you are, say how you are like training the model. With what you are training the model? You are training the model with the data. So nowhere you cannot go without data. Even artificial intelligence is where you are mimicking human intelligence. So mimicking human intelligence to do some stuff to solve some problem statement. And that is you can do only with data. So if your data is not big enough, then you are biased. Because with a small data set, it is not safe to consume anything. Big data means what? When you have big volume of data. Shall I put this?
British encryption device in history, and the Germans use it for all communicating with others unbreakable. What if only a machine could defeat another machine? Could machines ever think as human beings do? Most people say no. You're not lost.
Let's give that a chance to some extra credit, shall we?
ভিডিওটা সামনে
Call this, the game show was right? Ben, suppose you're on a game show, and you are given a chance to choose from 3 different doors, right? Now, behind one of the doors is a new car. Behind the other 2, goats. Which door would you choose?
We will go for the blonde. We block each other. Not a single one of us. So then we go for our friends. They will all give us the cold shoulder because nobody likes to be second choice. But provided that no one goes for the blonde, we don't get in each other's way. And we don't have some of the other girls. That's the only way we win. Do you know what the Turing test is?
Yeah, I know what the Turing test is. It's when a human interacts with a computer, and if the human doesn't know they're interacting with a computer, the test is passed.
And what does it pass tell us?
That the computer has artificial intelligence. Are you building an AI?
I've already built one. And over the next few days,
You're going to be the human component in the Turing test. Oh.
I got 6 lessons. Where do you want? Over here.
Oh, shoot. But as a go-getting progresses, the possibilities become smaller and smaller when it does take on work. And all the moves are predictable. So maybe, even though we're not sophisticated enough to be aware of it, there is a pattern, an order underlying every go game. Maybe that pattern is like the pattern in the stock market. The Torah. This 260. No, this is insanity, Max. Or maybe it's genius. I have to get that.
We have a left right here. I'm projecting that we need to at least having that in order to make it close. We need to score at least 814 runs in order to win those games and allow 600.
What's this?
This is the code that I've written for our year-to-year projections. This is building in all the intelligence that we have to project players. It's not getting used down to one another. Using stats the way we read them, we'll find value in players that nobody else can see.
What would the benefit to society be if we could predict the next market crash? This mathematics allows us to predict almost anything. Figure out this magic black box of yours.
There'll be plenty of problems to go all the way around.
The pattern of the case.
That determines that. Highly confidential.
According to these rules, every course has business solutions.
That's how it is. 1. Fixed calculus. 0. Usually, there would be a sequence form as just the concept of fixed calculus. Look, something like that. As we can see, that's binary. Moves that consists of the face down card, face up, and the card immediately right. Could be that one, followed by a 1.
Yeah, so that's all for the day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hope you have got some insights. So, dear participants, do you have any query?
So much queries there during the session.
Yes, the session was very informative and interactive also. So, now as we drawn the curtain, hello? Now as we drawn the curtain of the session 6 of our faculty development program, I am filled with a profound sense of gratitude and inspiration. Over the first 3 days, we have embarked on the transformative journey exploring the intersection of academia and industry within the dynamic landscape of AI, robotics and Industry 4.0 or 5.0. Now we have witnessed the power of collective wisdom and shared experience as educators, researchers and industry experts came together to chart a course towards the academic excellence and industry readiness. So I would like to request our convener sir, Mr. Gautam Chakraborty, to give a small token of appreciation to madam. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, madam. So, on the behalf of organizing committee of SKF, I extend my heartful thanks to each and every participant for their active participation and thoughtful contribution. So, on this note, I conclude the session 6.